with the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Brad8671 selects vintage baseball.
That's right. Safest thing out there, baby.
Yeah, he's watched the content. He knows. What's going on, YouTube world? Michael, Steve, the guest of the hours, Brad, a YouTube Hall of Famer on the channel. So yes, that cements our relevancy somewhat.
No.
Dave Vincenzo will be on at some point. He's counting dandelions in the front lawn or something. Whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
He's debating what Lemieux he really loves and what Lemieux he really, really loves. So it could be a while.
Yep.
First next, RIP Mongo McMichael. I saw he passed away.
I saw that.
I know what the
worst
ALS
disease, is. One of the worst diseases there is, that ALS, man. Please, Lord, no one I know have that.
As soon as they start mentioning hospice, you know it's coming quick, and he didn't even make it to hospice.
No.
That is not something I would wish on my worst enemy. Because if anybody recalls, my grandmother passed away from ALS. And that
my grandfather did too.
It's
he was one of the healthiest, most active people I knew. He always ran until his knees couldn't handle that anymore. And then he got into that speed walking stuff. And
going to the mall.
Funny. He lives in one of the most hilly areas of Iowa, up in Dubuque is where he lived.
Okay.
And he had a 7-mile route that he did every day. And unfortunately, ALS came on. The fortunate thing was it took him pretty quick.
Yeah, it was about 6 months for my grandmother.
Yeah.
Diagnosed in March and passed in September.
Yeah.
So
that's
the only thing that you could be thankful for is that, like, you hope it kind of happens quick. Like, you don't want that to happen, but at the same time, just because to experience it firsthand, it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't put it
into words. A prison inside your body.
Yep, because you can't do anything.
No, because everything's still functional in your head, but nothing works.
Yep. Nasty shit, man. But anyways, on to a more positive note, please.
Softball. Besides traveling. Yeah.
Oh, so your kid's become a little pitching machine now. Is she like one of the full-time pitchers now, or what?
We got a new head coach, and he was born in Canada, raised up in Canada, and that's what they have up there. Softball, fast pitch. So he was a pitcher up in Canada, and he's pitched. And again, I don't know. It's not like Sevens was sort of like I don't know if he was in the beer league with like his home run thing that he had way back when. But I don't think it was fast pitch, if I remember right. And so he's known how to, or the coach knows how to fast pitch too. So it's a big bonus. Not, again, how do I say it? Because it's not, I don't want to come off as smug, arrogant, all that. It's all stuff Naomi's heard. She's been taught, but it's just, again, matter of like repetition and putting everything together. So, but it's nice to have somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to pitching, because again, I don't to anyone out there in the internet world, try to pitch like a fast pitch pitcher. Just try. It's taken me like 3 years trying to like figure stuff out to get like motion and like everything how I want to like for like a practice to go out in the field. I don't want to just sit there and like soft toss, because that doesn't do anything. You can fucking jack a home run and it's like, yeah, good, I'm getting better. No, you're not. It's insane. and to soft toss it. So,
she looked good last night, though, Dave. She looked good last night.
She said too, and we watched it about 3/4 of it today. And she didn't want to. I'm like, I'd never care if you want to or not. You're going to, because I wish I had somebody that would have done that with me to see what I could work on. And she's like, well, I know what. I'm like, yeah, but again, if it's not being like whisked away and like the things you're doing are going away, then again, you've got to see what you're doing. But
from what I could tell, though, Dave, like that was probably, I can't say that I've watched them all, but I've watched a lot of the videos that you've posted of her. And that was probably one of the better games where she looked like she was in the zone. She lost it for a little bit when she hit the batter.
Yep.
It took her a bit to kind of get back in.
Yeah, that was the one where she short armed a few, right? Like it went with her.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But like her pitches were fantastic. She was like mixing it up. You know, some nice strikeouts. But like you said, man, in the group text, her defense let her down. Like I don't think whatever the final score was, 18-4 or whatever it was that you said, she had 0 earned runs. 0.
Oh yeah.
They were all unearned.
Yeah, on one of them, I was going to comment about the third baseman, but I'm like, okay, I don't know these kids, and I don't want like the dad to see his video, even though I'm joking, like and I'm like, okay, no, I erased it. I was like, I ain't doing that one.
But even because like I'll call it a wild pitch, but again, I couldn't see what happened behind the plate, so I don't know if it was an actual wild pitch, pass ball, catcher fucked up.
It was a pass ball. She went to stab at it instead of, and she's asked me before with the catcher, because that's usually the one that catches Naomi. It's not the usual varsity catcher, so that's usually the JV catcher. They were getting a day off because again, five games in 6 days, or 6 and 8, however you want to look at it. It's like I knew this week was going to be
that's a
the
lot.
time where she was in there, but I've always said, get behind it, then make yourself bigger. Because again, if you try to stab at it or like try to scoop it, it's going to bounce off dirt. It doesn't bounce the way you think it is. I know this because we've caught for her I don't know how many times in the field, and where I think it's going to bounce here, it bounces towards me, it bounces away, it bounces forward. You have to get yourself in front of it to make sure you stop.
Yep.
But that defense, that first pitch. Even the one that she's got the hitting instruction, because I sent it to her former pitching instructor that moved, and the 2 co-owners down at Strike Zone. And the hitting, she's like, oh, terrible error on the first pitch. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Again, this is where... And you have a lot of parents here, like, oh, they haven't got a lot of chances on the field yet. I'm like, I get that, but again,
there was plenty. There was plenty in that game. There were fucking plenty.
Oh, I know. And if you listen close, because Naomi will just like, oh, you and you're like sighing during the thing. Like I'll just sit there and you can hear that.
I try to like block
I'm
that
like,
out only because and I'm right there with you, because I want Naomi to do well. I want her to kick ass. I want her to like just keep moving forward and, hoping that something comes of this. She has drastically improved since like when she first started to where she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell her confidence is there. She's consistent in like her release points. Again, like even after the errors, she went right back to work. The only time she struggled is when she hit that batter.
And
it took a few pitches, but you know what?
Tell her she should have hit the next one.
At least she didn't hit the next one though. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a game what 2 years ago, I think, Floodwood, at the end of the year that she hit, I think 4 or 5 batters in that game.
Oops.
And then we watched it, and I said, "Yeah, well, your arm's coming like out away from your body, and you had like the door handle turn, so yeah, it's like spinning off its axis." I'm like, "That's what." So again, yeah, it's been a lot of work, and she knew that too, because she's like, "Yeah, as soon as I hit her, I was rattled." I said, "Why?"
Yeah.
Well, I hit her. I'm like, "Who cares?" It
It's
looked
not
like
like
that person had a particular chunk of meat on them that could be hit, and it wouldn't really, affect them. Like me, if you hit me, it'd be like, "Oh, it stings," but
You just act like you meant to do it. Like, yeah, I was just making sure she was backing off the plate.
yeah. Well, it's not like she knocked her in the head or fucking, put her in, what I
that's
mean?
when it affects you, right?
yeah.
Then I can get it. Then I can understand. But Naomi's not throwing 80 miles an hour either. Yet.
Hopefully.
I'm
That and the one that was a comebacker too, because I'm like,
oh, that was beautiful, man. I actually went back and replayed that. I was like, how, like, exactly where was that hit back to her? Because it was bang bang. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know she caught it, but okay, wait a minute. And I was like, that was spot on, man.
because I'm like, stop trying to be like that pitcher at Oklahoma that transferred over from Louisiana. That's her like favorite. That's been her favorite. We watched because she had, I don't know, in one game she had like the try to scoop. I think it was the Masabi Youth game. Tried to just scoop it to first from that, and then I think in that same game that pitcher had one that just like she got through, and it was like boop right here, and she doesn't wear a mask. So I'm like, I said, this is again, and she doesn't care about wearing the mask, but I'm like, this is why you wear it, because
you just don't know.
I said, as you build your speed, you're going to end up closer to the plate. And that's 43 feet to 36, 35 feet. I'm like, you got enough stuff that where you'll be exposed to the ball, but your face, you don't want that. And then have to rely on a lot of things to happen that need to happen to make sure you're okay. You just wear the mask. You might get hurt. You might get a black eye after that, but who cares? That's
a black eye is better than a broken jaw or knocked out teeth.
Yeah, something like that. So
broken eye, fractured eye socket. Like there's all sorts of things that could go wrong.
Yeah, so it was good just to get her out there. And I told her, I think last week, I said, with all these games being like jacked up for this week, I'm like, you're gonna start at least one. She's like, uh-huh. I'm like, you're going to, because they're not gonna pitch Zoe, the coach's kid, and all of them, because she's gonna fucking get worn down. Just because, again, that's a lot of innings to eat up, and even if you're playing a cruddy team, you see what happens behind you, and it's just like, and you can sort of hear the coach too, like muttering to himself or to like a couple people on the bench, and I think his daughter, because she hit for Naomi, which I'm like, I'm fine with that. That her hitting is, she's still not figuring that out, and it's getting annoying, but I'm like, you need to figure it out soon, because this makes you a detriment to the team. You don't want to become just a one-way player in northeastern Minnesota. You can do that in Florida. You can do that in Texas. You can do that in California. You can't do it up here. So you've got to figure that out if you want to progress in the way you want to progress, or say it the way you say you want to progress. So
she has her moments, though, Dave. That's the thing. I don't want to like pass critique on your kid, but again, I've watched enough where it's like part of it's confidence.
Oh yeah.
And the second is like, I don't want to say she's inconsistent, which she is to a degree, but I think she overthinks stuff too often.
All the time.
Because you can see the delay in her swing. When she's like second guessing, it's that little like pause before she swings.
It's the step. Her timing of her step. It's almost sometimes she forgets and she swings like it's baseball.
Yep.
You need that little.
Oh, I know.
Ball. And I know you've Like when you talked to Meredith that time and you said she just needs that little step. You don't need and
Well, because that her first at bat, that was beautiful.
Yeah, she
like
was
no hesitation. She was spot on. She squared her perfect.
and she's got to decide what kind of hitter she wants to be too. Does she want to
power? Does she want
Yeah. Do you want to be a power hitter? Do you want to be a slot bunter? What do you want to do?
Yep. Because, I mean, that's go gap to gap, and I've told her you can put them over the fence if you start getting out of your head and start just reacting and then having what you need to do as your reaction. Don't sit there and think, okay, are my hands down? What's coming through? By the time you do all that, like you said, you're swinging and
it's got to be fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, like that first at bat, I mean, that was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, you broke the ball, and I'm like, well, it's good, but yeah, they're pitching. That team isn't. It's not a team worth. And she knows that too. She's like, it's good to get the win, good to win, but it's a team we should have buried immediately and shouldn't have had any issue with. But I said, yeah, but that's why they play the game. Chris Berman taught us that. So yeah, game tomorrow.
Damn, another one already.
Friday away, game Saturday at home at 10 a.m. I think another game Monday away. And I think there's a couple days off, but I don't know if they're going to try to reschedule one of the previously postponed games. So that's going to depend on the schedule for next week, just to let the people here know. Yeah, it's that time of year. I love it, but it's just a.
That's a tough.
This week travel is tough.
Yeah, it's not like you're playing down the street in every game.
No. I mean, yeah, it's 2 hours down and back on Monday. 2 and change. Well, I took the longer way because it's like the one town is here, the other town is an hour away from that same town. So it's like I'm traveling the same road. No, I don't want that. That is death to me because I hate it. So I took the longer way by 20 minutes and I went north and middle of absolutely nowhere. Like no cell service and nothing. It was just like, oh, this is fun. So, and then Two Harbors, which is down by Duluth, so hour 45-ish on Friday. And depending on how nice it is off the lake, it could be real breezy and cool, or it could be somewhat warmer. I don't know. And then 10 a.m. game on Saturday, which is always a treat. But hopefully she'll pitch again, maybe Saturday, because Cook County, Grand Marais isn't a great team, and I don't know, just get her out there, and the off chance if pitcher gets hurt, the coach's kid, and you got her confident enough where it's like, okay, I can go out there and do some things. Maybe you might get knocked around by the heavyweights, but again, if your defense doesn't help you, I mean,
that's only going to make her stronger as a like character wise and as a pitcher. Like you got to get roughed up every once in a while because you can't freaking dominate them all. Like it's not happening.
Oh yeah, you saw the JV. If you watched that one from Monday, that was a AA team, so it's like a class up. But there again, they're just the in the first inning, just before the game, that the one of the parents from the other team came up to me and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good." He's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" I'm like, "Man, I can't say I honestly do." Like, oh, we were at the UMD camp together a couple years ago. Okay, I'm not gonna still
don't know who the heck you are.
I mean, I remember, but I don't like.
Yeah.
If we had a conversation, which again, more on me and just like the brain turning to mush. But so it was his daughter pitching to start the game. So, but there again, it was same thing. It's like, okay, there's a few good pitches and there's like a bunch of mediocre and a couple good, and but our JV is, you want to watch even less of a effort, I'd say. I don't know if that's where they get it from varsity or what, or they just don't think they have to dive for balls. And there's a lot of balls there that if you watch that game, if you put yourself through that torturous game, you'll see like ground balls to second, and it should at least stop the ball, dive and stop. I mean, it's not even a matter of like Ozzie Smith, like Superman diving to stop something. It's like you take one step and dive, and you'll stop the ball. And it just, nobody was exuding much effort. And yeah, she got rocked in that game, but it wasn't, again, it shouldn't have been. Then you have errors, you kick the ball around, you throw the ball. It's like, said, you're not playing all 9 positions. You can't.
Yeah, fundamentals are lacking.
Every pitcher in history, no matter how good you are, has had clunkers. Either because their stuff wasn't on, or the defense absolutely was dog shit. Or the other team was just a buzzsaw. They saw everything perfectly, and hey, again, if you're captain,
those happen too.
It's not like it's not going to happen. You don't have the stuff where you can sit there and be like, I have to give up 2 or fewer hits, 1 or less run, 1 or less walk, and if I don't get like 8 strikeouts, I'm pissed. You don't have that stuff. You pitch the contact, and that's what you need to do. You have to hope to God that your defense is awake. And yesterday they weren't. Like, the first 2 innings they were not, and then I think a little in the third. But yeah, that 4th inning, I thought it was 12-4 because I said that, and I asked the assistant coach, and she's like, "No, it's 18-4." I'm like, I said I knew they scored a lot of runs, but I started to lose track, and I was more worried about telling Naomi, keep your arm warm, because this is the worst part of a long inning. It's great for you. It's pushing your lead out, but you got to get like the heavy ball and just start slowly working it. Just keep the arm limber, because again, it's 50 degrees out, but it wasn't like, if you watch the game, it wasn't a warm 50. It's cloudy and overcast, and so yeah, that's basically the life. I see the group chat every time I check. It's got like 60, 70 texts or whatever. I'm like, I got to go back at some point and read, because I just jump in there with whatever I'm sending. But I'm like, it's a lot of driving, a lot of driving, and a lot of work. And
well, as you know, most of that is like Ed getting on his high horse. So like that's typically when it like it's just you're sitting there going, okay, 1, 2, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, either that's going to be Vinny or it's going to be Ed. And lately it's been Ed.
yeah,
I feel like he's been fired up lately. What's going on with Ed? What's going on?
And then every once in a while it may be Bob. You know, he's finally catching up to like the 260 messages since the last time he like read it or sent a message, and it's the heart or light or whatever, all his sort of Apple-ish responses to things. I mean, the fucking shit's still going.
Yeah, it's like you've seen like the little for whatever that reason is, because of that group text, it'll show up like a 4G thing next to like the thing, and then I'm like, okay, that's the guy who's going wild for that. So Joe usually pushing some more Strongsville content down our throats, and so
Vinny and his day in the life of working with Germans.
The schnitzel.
That's all I'm gonna say, Vinny. Let's not get into it.
Oh, I'm working as we
The sigh said it all.
I'm just working as we speak. But I got two new guys. Well, an old friend, a colleague of mine. We're working together again. It's in Germany, and he's a sound producer on the side. So when these American bands come into Germany, he does for this amphitheater. He does the sound. So he was sending me pictures today. It's him with Mungo Jerry, in the summertime. Molly Hatchet, 4 or 5 Canadian bands that I've heard of, but I've heard of them. I don't know their music.
Where's Joe when you need him?
Yeah. I send it to Joe and Paul because they would know. And then there's a new kid that he came over here 4 or 5 years ago, and he reminds me of a young Vincenzo. And I really like this kid, and I think he's going places. So I like it when I have someone that I can work with, and now he's accelerated fast in his career, and he's a manager, and he works, and I dig that.
They're rare.
Other than that, Meredith finished the bathroom, and that's what I was doing. We put in all there instead of towels, because the towels that we put in before, my daughter's boyfriend used instant mastic, but put too much. He mixed it, and it caused too much air. So when you actually pulled them up, you saw why they were cracking. There was a gap between the floorboard, the concrete floorboard, and the actual towel. This stuff is just planks, and you can cut it with a miter saw. And Meredith just went to town, and she got it. She had to borrow a jigsaw. She finished it up. I put the vanity back on there, and we put the toilet back on. Now all she has to do is finish painting, and we're ready to rock and roll. And did you see that goal the other night, Michael? The overtime Ovechkin goal. I woke my wife up because I screamed so loud. I'm like, F&A! And it was gorgeous.
Can
It was
someone
incredible.
explain to me why on a power play they don't just play 3-on-4 and someone follows him around everywhere? It literally makes no sense. Why would you let him sit there and shoot it?
Yeah. That's his.
It's like teams just refuse to do something different. It's like he should never be shooting it.
No, I would drape, if that was the 90s, I would drape Alf Samuelson on his ass the entire game. I would just pound the living shit out of him. I would just hit him. And then when Alf wasn't on there, Shell would fall on him because Shell was like 6'8", and he had the oddest ball checks, but when he hit you, good God almighty, if you're 6'8" on skate coming at you, I don't know if Ovechkin would get out of the way. He'd probably dump his ass. Yeah, he'd take it and dump his ass. He would get I mean, he's a brick shit house. You saw him he was playing soccer one time on a soccer pitch.
Yeah.
Comes running like he's gonna give him a bump. Well, it's like bump, and then that guy went like this. It was like Ovechkin was in perpetual motion. I'm like, he's 230 pounds. I think that's what he is. Research department will let
he'd have been great at rugby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they win tonight, Michael?
Yeah, they did.
They're lucky
won
my
3.
jackets didn't get in there, bro, because we might have kicked that ass.
Yeah, the game just finished 3-1. But the third goal was an empty netter. Right at the buzzer, basically.
He's 236.
What's that?
He's 6'3", 236, Ovechkin.
Yeah.
That's a big freaking solid boy.
Yeah.
They're saying Wayne's 6 foot tall, 160, 185. If Wayne Gretzky's he might be. His wife's 6 foot tall, I think, or she's 5'10". So he might be there. So, because I know Crosby's like just over 200, but I think he's a short dude. Well, not short, but he's 5'11",
which means he's probably 5'9.5".
Well, yeah, that's things. It's like to tend to try to tell me. He goes, "I'm 6'2". I said, "You're 6'2", my ass."
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. He goes, "With the hair." I said, "That doesn't count. It might count in Zimbabwe, but that doesn't count here." Oh yeah, Casperitis would have lit. Yeah, fellow Russia. Oh, that'd have been some. Oh, that would have been some blowout fights. That would have been excellent hockey.
All right. Well, 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
We've talked softball. We talked a little hockey.
Playoff hockey is way better than anything else going on in sports.
Pretty much.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
Not going to argue with you. But on to the topic at hand. We don't want to keep Brad up too late because it is always a special time in which we actually do get him on.
That's correct. Because usually Tuesdays are out because he's got to wake up semi-early.
2:45 just comes earlier and earlier, it seems like.
That's just because you're getting older, Brad.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
Oh yeah, thanks for using a 10-year ago picture for the thing. I look good. I laughed when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's got to be at least 10 years old.
It was one of your first few videos.
Yeah.
Leave it to Dave to pull some shit like that.
I laugh.
How often do you actually sleep to your alarm?
50-50.
Means your body's getting fully acclimated to it.
Yeah, like the problem is, like, I'm off this week. I wake up between 3 and 4 every day. Now, luckily, I've been able to go back to sleep though. But it's like my body. You're sure you're not supposed to be up? Like, it's not right at 2:45, but it's always between 3 and 4 every day this week. I've woken up between then. It's like you're sure you're not supposed to be? Okay, you can go back to bed.
Shoot me if that were the case.
There's nights where it's like I'll get to bed 9:30, and then I like just pop out of bed and I'm like, it's got to be at least 2. It's got to be like 11:15. I'm just like, oh, why? I'm like, well, I get up and I'm like, I'll go to the bathroom just in case. Because again, if I'm up, and then go back to bed. Okay, it's midnight or whatever. Finally get back to bed and then get up again. I'm like, it's got to be like 5 minutes before my alarm.
Yeah, that's usually what it is for me.
And it's 1:50.
See, that's the problem though. Like when you wake up like that, like don't even look at a clock. Get up, go run to the bathroom if that's what you feel like you need to do. Go back to bed and just hope that you fall back. Just don't look at a clock. Because the minute you look at the clock, you're like, motherfucker. And it just sits right there in the front of your head. And then you just sit there and you like cringe over it for however long before you ultimately fall back asleep. So it like defeats the purpose. Just don't even look at a clock.
Because the thing there is like, I don't want it to be like 3:15 and be like, oh, I'm back to bed. And right as I start getting to bed, the alarm goes off. Then I'm like, oh fuck, this is
still better.
I'd rather
sit there look like after you sleep for 2 hours and you're like, no. Granted, like I don't have to get up early. Like my alarm is set for 7:45. Mind you, I work from home, so like I literally just have to crawl out of bed and get in front of a computer. So it's not the same. But in years past, even when I had to get up and go like get dressed get my kids ready, all that kind of stuff. If I woke up, I don't give a shit if it's pitch black, it's starting, the sun starting. I stop looking at a clock because the minute I look at it, and if it's like an hour and 15 minutes before I'm needing to get up, I might as well just stay up. And then it like screws up my whole day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't bother to look at a clock. Oh, damn, I got to piss. Okay, wake up, don't even look. Because like now, living in an apartment, the freaking clock on the stove, considering I'm still sleeping in the living room, I'm getting closer to having my bedroom finished. The bed frame is put together, but there's shit on the inside of it. So, of course, I can't very well put my mattress and box springs in there. But, like, the clock on the stove is right here. So, like, the first few nights we were here, I made the mistake of looking. I'm like, why? You've done so good for so long. Why would you do that? 3:30. I'm like, okay, I looked at the clock. Now I'm fucking wide awake. Okay, I guess I'll start working. So I just stopped. Stop looking at it.
It's not fun. I know that. Because it usually happens most times Tuesday morning. That's like I'll wake up at 1:45, 2 o'clock, and that's I can't even. I'll sit there, try to get back to bed. Put like the heating pad on, so I'm like, okay, at least that with the fan going, it'll hopefully counteract. And no, it doesn't matter. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, now what time is it? 10 to 3. I'm like, well, I might as well get up. I've been sitting here an hour, ain't working. Let's just get up and listen to Jim Cornette for a while, play Angry Birds for a while, and get to work. And
what a surprise, Dave's choice of gaming, Angry Birds.
Well, it's that, and it's like a golf. It's not. Is it Golf Clash? I don't even know which golf.
So like
game.
mini golf, kind of like a mini golf thing.
No mini golf. It's actual like a par 5 course, and I like golf. That's something I can watch too, and a lot of people just hate it. And
yeah, it's good to watch if you want to take a nap.
See, I love watching.
Yeah, it's my probably third sport I watch the most of now. NFL, hockey, golf, probably.
And that there again goes back to being a kid. Sunday golf was on. Dad would be watching Curtis Strange and Calcavecchia and Tom Mize and all these guys. And
yeah, golf is like way down here somewhere.
Golf is the only one my wife will watch with me. She doesn't care about the other sports.
I can't do it.
I love it.
I'd rather watch tennis.
Like golf. But it has to be good. It has to be good golf. It can't be like.
Yeah, it's not every tournament.
Yeah.
No.
I like to watch the pro-ams with the where they match you up with something, waiting for a Happy Gilmore moment. Keep your eye on, follow Bill Murray because something cool is going to happen because he's a tremendous golfer and he's hysterical. So
Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley's just Barkley's a piece of work. God, he's a national treasure. He's just like
anyways. We went off topic again.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Sorry, Brad. Sorry, Brad. I'm trying, but I'm failing miserably. Hush, Vinny. Let's not get us off on some.
Dave, give us a division and let's go. So, Abadada.
Well, what do you think about trading? Because I keep seeing the same thing. I'm sure you see it too. That a lot of teams aren't really, especially in this draft, aren't looking to move up. There isn't like especially in that top 3. Again, it's with what it's going to cost now, comparative even to like the Abdul Carter getting that D end out of Penn State. It's going to probably cost more than he'll be worth. I mean, it's like such an overvalue now of picks, especially when you're trying to jump up to to the top. See a lot of people wanting to trade back because they figure a lot of their players are going to stumble, and if they don't, there's going to be somebody of like equal or slightly lesser value down.
Picks 20 through 65 are the same. It's pick your flavor.
Yep.
So this is a draft you want a bunch of second round picks in.
Yeah.
You would love it. Yeah. But yeah, there is literally elite prospects: Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty, and you could argue the two tight ends, Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. That's about it. So nobody's trading up for a quarterback in the top 3, which is normally what would happen. And what's beautiful about this one is every team has their own pick for the first time ever since 1967. So good news is if you have a fan of a team, you can tune in because they're at least going to have to do something, whether it's trading. So that'll at least make it nice for everyone because last year there was like 5 teams with no first round picks. So.
Could you see people, because you just mentioned like this is a draft that you'd like to have more second round picks. What's your over under on teams drafting out of the or trading out of the first round?
I think 2 maybe, and it'll be towards the end. Okay. Because it's this is our favorite quarterback, or this guy who was injured, so he fell. Let's go back into the first round. So like especially those high second round pick guys, especially if we're going to take a quarterback, you want the 5th year. If you're going to take him at 34, do what the Ravens did with Lamar, knowing he was developmental. Well, let's get the 5th year, So I think you'll see that. You'll see probably a trade at the very end because those teams, they don't care. They'll pick 5 picks later. They don't care. Yeah. So, you'll see a prior quarterback at the end or a guy who has dropped because of an injury concern. That it's just like this guy was supposed to be pick 10 and he's still there, So,
do you think there's going to be a lot of like taking the best player on the board?
Yeah, because there isn't I've got a blue chip safety. I have 2 safeties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're just going to take. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like. Go ahead,
man. If I'm Tennessee, I'd try to get out of that number 1 pick, or I draft the edge because I don't think Cam Ward's special. You're gonna suck with either him or Will Levis. Just suck for another year with Will Levis and be right up picking next year.
Yeah, because what I would tell you, Michael, is would you draft Jordan Love number 1
this year?
Knowing what you know of Jordan Love, would you draft him number 1? If that answer is no, then they shouldn't take him because that's about the level he is.
Yeah, and I don't think I would.
Yeah, so there you go. Like I would say that's kind of my pro comp is Jordan Love. So that's what you're dealing with in this draft from a quarterback perspective.
Yeah, they're just
like Shedeur Sanders is prime Teddy Bridgewater. That's not a bash. Because people forget Bridgewater pre-knee injury was actually pretty good.
Yep.
High floor.
Bridgewater in college was awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's basically what Sanders is, I think, is a prime Teddy Bridgewater. So, and then Jackson Dart, and this is not to actually make fun of him, because you got to remember what this guy was coming out, is like Zach Wilson. Got the shiny traits, does dumb stuff, but he checks the box.
Mm-hmm.
So can you fix him? Can you get him around it? The Jets were obviously not a good fit for him to go.
No.
But so people like I'll say that and you'll be like, well, heck, I don't want that. Well, you got to think what it was 4 years ago before the Jets ruined him, and it's his fault too. But
Zach Wilson doesn't get that one combine throw on tape. He's not a New York Jet.
Right. Like Dart actually did a few of those things in a game.
Yeah.
But he also threw 4 picks in 6 minutes in a game.
Yes.
So that's why I said
Yeah, there's a lot of times he tried to do way too much, and it's like, dude, don't make the throw. I see what you're. No, don't. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Triple coverage with the safety, just like playing center field. Okay, don't throw the long ball. Please don't. Oh, you did? Oh, interception.
so. Well, since we're kind of talking about quarterbacks, the most fascinating one to me is Will Howard because he's the perfect build. Like if I was to build the size, speed, physicality, it's him. You know, he's not too big. He's 6'5", and he's 235. Like that's close to Josh Allen is. You know, like
That's what you want.
yeah. So yeah, he's the most fascinating to me. If you could get him in a round 3, I want the Dolphins to take him if he's in round 3. It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Not a first rounder, you know. But,
No.
But yeah, I think he has went from that 6-7 range to round 3 because he started playing with better players and you got to see what he could do.
Yeah.
But how much it is, well, you were just playing with better players. You know, it works both ways. But
thoughts on Dylan Gabriel and then that Tyler Blau or whatever, the kid from
Tyler Shuck, that you don't know how you get the name Shuck out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shuck, he's been in college 6 years. He's going to be 25 or 26 when the season starts, which is fine. Quarterbacks can play a long time. Bo Nix was, I think, 25 when the season started. The difference is Bo Nix was ready to play. It was just a matter of what his ceiling was, right? Tyler Shuck is still developmental at 25. No, pass. And that's my feeling on him. Like, I do not want a developmental guy at 25. I need to know you can already play, you know, and all his misses are high. That is literally the worst thing you can do as a quarterback. All his misses are high. And free rushers,
100%.
As a 6-year veteran, if you have a free rush, I expect you to know what to do.
Yes.
So he doesn't have the poise for me for a 6-year veteran quarterback. So it's like, okay, I'm taking a project who should be 21, and I can deal with that. Over a guy who's like, he should have a lot of coaching by now. 3 different schools, 6 years. Yeah. Day 3 pick for sure for me.
Mm-hmm.
But he might go in round 2, and I think that's nuts.
Yeah.
Gabriel is just, he's a backup in the league, but he's accurate. So he's a perfect guy to have as a backup. Hey, can you go in there and throw the 7-yard slant route and know who to throw it to? Okay, yeah. I don't think he's a starter, though. His size and because he doesn't have like Tua anticipation. So, you know, and he doesn't have the athleticism of Steve Young, you know. So it's like, yeah, I think backup is pretty much a ceiling, I would think.
I would like my team to have a 7-yard slant route in their playbook. I don't know why that.
Famine, isn't it?
I don't know why that route just disappeared in Green Bay.
That was your money route.
Yes, Jordy, Donald, Randall all ran that route so beautifully. Yeah, we're just not going to do that anymore.
And because they ran it so beautifully, now the outside's wide open because they all are converging inside, you know? Yeah. I hate it.
McCord, what do you think of him?
Now we've got 5 wide receivers and no number 1.
McCord's the only guy I know that went to a worse team and played better. I can't figure it out. It was a stacked team in Ohio State, looked freaking lost.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to Syracuse and starts like you're throwing on time. The ball looks nice coming out of your hand. I don't even know what to think of him because at Syracuse, he is a draftable 2nd, 3rd round quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
At Ohio State, he was undrafted, in my opinion. And it doesn't make any sense. So,
well, when's the last time you had that too? Like an Ohio State quarterback that you didn't want to even touch. I mean, even Troy Smith with
Oh,
his
yeah.
limited passing ability, you were like, I want to take him because I know he's going to at least, if he doesn't see anything with his eyes, he's going to take off with his legs.
Right.
So,
But now the all you need is one team to fall in love and believe in it is Jalen Milroe, because he is the most athletic by far.
mm-hmm.
Like, you can already have a package for him when you draft him, if you want to. But good Lord, his footwork is the worst in the coming out of college. He has the worst footwork. But that's coachable. That is coachable. So, but
it always annoys me this time of year with the quarterbacks where you're like, again, for me, I like, and I know you do too, the eye test. I just, if I'm watching a game, what are you doing?
Right.
And Milroe, yeah, he regressed huge.
Yeah.
Sanders, I mean, if somebody got a hold of him, he's collapsing. He cannot avoid the rush to save his life.
Yeah, that's my concern, is the amount of sacks. Now, again, his line sucked.
Yeah.
That's fine if you had 40 sacks. 72? Okay, pal, half of these are on you.
And not
And a lot of it
go to Pittsburgh either, as all these rumors have been going. Our offensive line currently isn't the greatest of
well, and like, I had him going to New Orleans. He gets to play in a dome. He gets a new offensive young coach that he can grow up with Kellen Moore. You get to play in a dome in Atlanta, outside in Carolina and Tampa Bay. Perfect for a guy that doesn't have a super strong arm, right? So, because I think you could teach you to just be like, you got to either get rid of it faster or know that you are, because everyone assumes since he's a black quarterback, he's super athletic, right?
Yep.
He's not.
No.
And sometimes I think he forgets that he's not. And how often he gets caught from behind or as he's rolling out. And it's like, you didn't need to take a sack right there.
No, it's a lot of just awareness.
Right.
When, again, you can't be somewhere in your head. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know him. I haven't talked to him. I haven't had conversations with him. I haven't read a lot other than the hype train with him and Hunter and Dion are just chugga choo-chooing down the fucking, it's like a silver bullet in Japan. I don't know if you can't count to like 6 or what, but I mean, it's like after 5, it's like, I have to do something with this ball. 5 seconds is a lot of time.
Yeah.
In the NFL, that's an eternity.
Right. Because it's common for the guy going from high school to college to do that the first year. Because, you just run around and you make plays in high school.
Yeah.
So that's why I would have thought last year I saw a lot less of it, but it didn't happen. So that's my one red flag with him was you're taking way too many sacks, which are drive killers. That's what killed Caleb Williams last year. He was actually pretty good otherwise. I mean, he gets criticized unfairly, in my opinion.
I know. I hope he doesn't fix it.
Yeah, he should have beat your Packers twice. He had him in position to do it both times.
They should have won a lot more games than they did.
Oh, yeah. So
after that Washington game, they pretty much that season.
Yeah, that was a turning point. Yep.
Fell to pieces.
So yeah, that would be, every quarterback's got a red flag. Mine's like the awareness of you've played a lot of quarterback. Why is this still a problem? So
yeah, and I don't know if it's just overconfidence or what it is, but from a lot of what has been said and talked about is a lot of the issues that came with those bad plays were him changing plays at the line, doing his own thing because he saw something.
all right.
And that's overconfidence. Just
Yeah,
run the play.
obviously you didn't see enough.
Run the play that was called. Because his offensive coordinator there is a really big coach.
And Dion's never going to throw him under the bus. We've figured that out years ago at Jackson State that him and Travis Hunter are probably the 2 best players that have ever played any sports ever.
Correct.
That's why the placeholder got the CU in there, because if you're getting your jersey retired before basically anybody from that 90 or 91 the NCAA championship team,
It's absolutely asinine.
And then Dion in his comments of like, well, I've been part of a bunch of jersey retirements and nobody's ever said anything like well, they deserved it. You deserved it. These guys don't. That's the fucking reason why, Dion. Check your toes, see if there's blood circulation down there, man.
Wasn't that Hines Ward and Colorado? Wasn't that Cordell and Hines Ward? No, it was Westbrook.
I mean, even them, I'd rather have them in there. I think the only one that's been like, 30 years now, I think was Rashawn Salam.
You say Rashawn Salam.
Because I know Chad Brown was all pissed off about stuff too, and I'm like, good. That's what it should be, because you had a lot of players that were big-time players coming out of there in the late 80s, early 90s. And
that won games.
Yeah, big games.
That's the craziest thing is that these 2 years in Colorado, I think they were 1-8 against ranked teams.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there with like maybe a few games over 500, and you went to what? The Tampon Bowl? I mean, who cares? Like, what does that matter? But no, again, that's the entitlement of the kids, and that I like the hype Dion does, but I hate the attention that he brings because it's not.
Well, and it's kind of been unfair to his kid because the kid went from overrated.
Yep.
And now I think he's being like dumped on unnecessarily here, like this week before the draft. They're making it sound like he's kind of like, he couldn't even be a starter in this league, And I'm like, okay, guys, like I think you went too far the other way now.
I love the pendulum, the pit and the pendulum.
Yeah.
But let's stop a little bit. I mean,
yeah. So I thought I had a good cut. That's the vibe I get. Is the Teddy Bridgewater vibe from him. And Quinn Ewers is the only other one that probably should get drafted. And that was another guy. The more he played, the worse he got. He played on good squads too.
Yes.
Now, he did have a shoulder injury supposedly. Obviously, that's a big deal. You're throwing shoulder if that was in fact the case.
Mm-hmm.
But not impressed. I know, because if you would have done this just a year and a half ago, he was supposed to be the first quarterback taken in this draft. Just a year and a half ago. And now he's round 4. So I don't even know what to make of it, because the more he played, the worse he got. So it's weird.
Yeah, especially at Texas where you're sitting there.
Yeah, his teams got gradually better. He got worse. Made no sense.
You're not playing at Rice or New Mexico State or Washington State where it's like, okay, you can be an outlier. It's like, no, this is.
So, like I said, I will give him a break if, in fact, that was obviously that's a big deal for a quarterback.
Yeah,
that's the only excuse he would get. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch him either, from what I saw.
The rare year, say a comeback for the running back position.
Yes.
Where there's actually.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's 20 backs that could contribute next season.
And especially in the first couple of rounds where years past, okay, you got one.
Yeah, you usually have a first rounder, maybe a second rounder, and then the rest of them go after that.
Yeah, it's just.
Right.
But you got the 2 Ohio State ones.
Yeah, Junkins to me is overrated. But he gets what's blocked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's fine when you're at Ohio State and getting 5 yards. But, like, you could see, like, the same run where Henderson took it 35, he got 6.
Yep.
And I'm like, red flag. And now he's not as fast, which is fine, but you need to be making that first guy miss. That's what I always say about the running back. If you don't make the first guy miss, you can't play for me.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 2-yard run or it's a 2-yard loss that you save from being a 6-yard loss, whatever it is, right? You got to make the first person miss. And he doesn't do that enough for me. So I think he's one of the most overrated at the running back for my taste. Is Junkins from Ohio State.
And then Henderson. This is backfield.
Like He has dolphin written all over him, and it scares me to death.
And then Omarion Hampton.
Yep, he does a little bit of everything. So yeah, you can have. I think you have 3 that if they went in the first round, I wouldn't call you an idiot. Now, I'm not a draft or running back in the first round guy. I think you only do that or pay a guy in free agency if you have everything else already in place. Eagles had everything else already in place when they paid Saquon.
Yeah.
So, like, I have the Raiders taking Genty. That's dumb. Jaguars, they take Genty. That's dumb.
Denver,
not as dumb because you are getting to the point where you're getting closer to where that's an extra piece that can help you take over the time. It's not as dumb.
It can make the game easier for you in that fourth quarter. It can make the game easier for your quarterback. That's what you look for. If you take it at Jacksonville, when you have a hole at every position.
So now, like the Bears, what they did in free agency, attacking offensive and defensive line, if he fell to 10, I wouldn't bash it if they took
it. That would be
because you've at least established his help first, And they have 2 second-round picks, which, like I said in this draft, is really where you want to be. So,
yeah, I've called him Genetti just because I go back to Marty Genetti. When I see the name, I'm saying Genetti, whatever. But I like him a lot. And it's not the 4 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. He can kick the ball and take off. Every game you look at the box score, okay, he's got like 12 for 58 or 12 for 73. Then you go back like 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, and it's like, okay, he's got 18 for 204. He ripped off a 70.
And he didn't just do it against the bad teams they played either.
No, everybody felt the pain.
Even like Penn State, who gobbled up to stop him, he still had over 100 yards.
Yeah.
They gobbled him. Like, they did probably the best job of anyone, and he still had over 100 yards, And he always makes the first guy miss. So that's why, and his balance is fantastic. He's kind of like a faster Steven Jackson is kind of what I watch. Yeah. He's not quite Adrian Peterson. We won't go that crazy, but that's kind of who I reminded me of when I was watching him. Steven Jackson can receive the ball pretty well, breaks tackles, good balance, but he has a little longer speed than Steven Jackson.
Well, it'll take a miracle for him to fall at 20 because he's very high on Denver's radar, which concerns me if Denver decides to potentially trade up.
There's no way he gets past 10, I don't think.
No, not past the Bears. I mean, it'd be something drastic would have had to happen. So, NFL draft. A little preview of the old NFL draft we got going on tonight.
Hey, the card closet. He's a fellow Michigander, I believe.
Yeah, this is one of the few topics that's a consistent staple every year.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a niche topic. 20 people that watch it really enjoy it.
Yeah, which is wild because, again, it's go back 10, 15 years, and this would have been, you had this on blog TV, people have been gobbling it up. Now we're not talking about the 59 tops mantle against the 1958 tops mantle, and we can't do that in front of 16,000 people. And people don't care about that. Receiver. I'll lump tight ends in here too, because again, this is the rare time where I always think, I don't know why, I go back to K2, Kellen Winslow Jr. and his assaulting 83-year-old woman. Kyle Brady, when the Jets took him and they were just absolutely livid. And then another Kyle Pitts.
Vinny, he's in South Dakota.
Yeah, good thing, Vinny.
Vinny's not paying attention.
Oh, I thought he was in Michigan.
No, South Dakota.
Benny just makes stuff up. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, he was here. He tried to go to Crux, and there's no storefront. That's what it was. My bad. Continue on.
He's not
Stop
Michigan.
working.
Unfortunately, something's due at noon tomorrow, and I got to multitask, fellas.
But it is plausible that 2 tight ends could go before any receiver.
Yes.
That's something you never see anymore. But it's
As
plausible.
long as that's the other thing. Denver needs a tight end, and he better not draft a fucking Big Ten tight end.
You're not. I really don't think they're gonna.
Well, you did get Evan Ingram in the offseason, which
Yes.
I still don't get why the him and Lawrence had good rapport. That was weird. But yeah, so
I can't speak to that. Like it's a decent upgrade considering where we were. But at the same time, I could also see them trying to go tight end, and they just need to stay away from Big Ten, especially anybody from Michigan, because like that just doesn't fly in Denver.
Well,
No offense, Vinny.
Jake Butt wasn't like he was a top pick, then he got hurt, but then you drafted him like the 4th or 5th round. So it's not like you used the 10th overall pick on an ACL tight end, and you're like, oh, he'll be back.
Agreed, but again, like at the end of the day, Denver does not have a great track record with drafting tight ends. Just pick them up in free agency, man, and call it a day. I digress.
But yeah,
I don't think-
they're both 6'6", both Warren and Lovelace that we're talking about, but they are different. Like Warren's more agile, so more of like the quick screen, the quick, do quicker stuff with them. And Loveland's more of the big tight end that shouldn't run as fast as he does, but he looks more like the tight end you would think of, even though they're the same size. It's weird, but when you watch it, you'll understand what I'm saying. But
it's like Warren's like a Kelsey 5-6 years ago. Cortland,
Kelsey pretty fat.
Loveland reminds me of an Eric Green with Pittsburgh and Miami, just like a bigger, wider, but the same.
Yeah, they're like 10 pounds apart, but they look completely different. It's
They look like somebody put like a tight end number on a tackle, like a swing tackle. Like, oh. But yeah, I don't think Denver's gonna have to. You're gonna have to fret too much. That I think they're both. I think Indy is gonna be the floor for
Loveland is who I have.
Because Warren's gonna be top 10.
Now I'm one of the few that had Warren going to the Jags.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you have a new coach who's an offensive guy. They're not I would surely hope he's not drafting a running back, because you already have Bigsby and ETN. That'll work, So give Lawrence another special weapon. You hit a home run with Brian Thomas the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need another tall receiver like that and like Tet McMillan. That's stupid. So Warren could do kind of a Swiss Army knife tight end. Perfect. Get Lawrence back on track. That was my thought of putting him there at 5, but no one else seems to have that. So that'll either be one of those I'm the idiot or I'm the smart one. I don't know. That was my thought process.
I went with the one that I like. Again, it's the Jags. It's like Jags, Raiders, Cowboys. I don't know. It just again, throw a Jackson dart, and then guess what happens? You're probably like 3 pages off and 4 positions away. I picked the D tackle Graham I projected them Graham from Michigan, because again, at some point you got to start pairing up people in that line and cause trouble where the deficiencies of your secondary are not so known.
What I like about Graham is he's like a wrestler, and I don't mean like a WWE wrestler. I'm talking like a real wrestler.
Yep.
The way he uses his hands is just always getting around the biggest guy, because he's not the biggest guy in the world.
No.
But he makes it happen. He never gets pushed around. You would think he gets gobbled up. Sometimes he doesn't. So, yeah, I would love him at the Dolphins at 13, which is why I would love for him to fall to there. Because my comp for him, no joke, this before I even did that, was Zach Sealer, who is on the Dolphins.
But it's the Jaguars. It's Shad Khan. I His
Yeah.
kid's a lunatic. Shad Khan's a lunatic for giving Tony Khan so much money to run AEW into the ground. Again, and you got 2 back-to-back, or 3 with the Jets too.
Oh, nothing would surprise you.
I mean, that whole top 7, 8, or 9, because New Orleans isn't. How they get out of cap purgatory every year, I don't know. But whoever does that needs to
the
get.
fact they messed with Derek Carr's contract again. Why? Stop it.
You're going to be paying for it when has like great grandchildren. You think that Bobby Bonilla one's been extended for a while? Derek Carr is going to be going on since after like the NFL folds up in 20 whatever.
Yeah, if they would have just got like somebody to tell him like, hey, you do this push the can down the road thing when you have Drew Brees, okay? Then when he retired, you reset that. That's how this is supposed to work. Because they actually aren't dumb. They're decent at drafting. They're,
Yep.
But it's like
Just
you're just always
eat
up
shit
against
for a
it.
couple years.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
eat
like-
the big pile of shit you've made, be done with it, and be back to good.
Yep. Like Denver. They're
Instead
fine now.
of mediocre shit all the time.
Fine. You know?
You start 4-1 and people get excited down there, and then you lose like 7 in a row, but then you win the last 3, so you're sitting at like 7 and 10. So you're not picking top 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's a pretty well-run organization. Other than they just can't. They're like addicted to it. It's like a gamble. They're just like we have to mess with these contracts. Let's do it.
It's like,
So we
look
can
how
sign
cool we can
some
make.
random dude that we don't really have to have for $10 million a year. Yeah. Yeah.
Look
18.
what I can do this with this number that's so cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about, again, last year I remember seeing if he would have come out Luther Burden from Missouri. And this year, again, top 10 maybe last year, top 20 for sure. This year,
Yeah,
I've seen
first round a lot of people, yes.
which
He is
I
the best
think,
with the ball, by far. Best with the ball. But his quarterback just really sucked this year.
and that I don't get why that's not being more of a
and supposedly they're mad because he had an attitude about it all season.
well,
Well, you're costing me millions of dollars, and I'm open, and you can't give me the ball. And all they're going to remember is what they've seen last. They're not going to remember my year before because that's what NFL teams do because they're dumb. So, yeah. That's part of it. They think he has an attitude problem. And I'm like, well, I get kind of why he had an attitude problem.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's probably him and Ibuka are the safest ones to take. Like, you're getting production. Like, I don't know how high end it is, but you're getting a number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, you're getting 60 for 900, 6 touchdowns. And that's good. You want that. You don't want to have somebody, not to rip on the Packers with some of these guys. It's like when you get 28 catches for 400 yards and a touchdown. And then your undrafted guy comes in and gets like 60 catches and 750 and 8 touchdowns. It's like good on the scouting department. The guy's figuring stuff out, but
Burden would be perfect for like a team like the 49ers. Teams that use a lot of motion, constantly moving them around, perfect fits. So guys who run that Shanahan type scheme, a dream. Rams, you just imagine him with the Rams. They won't take him now, but
no.
Yeah, Rams, Dolphins, 49ers, teams like that, perfect fit for teams like that.
I forget, where did Cooper Kupp end up signing?
Seahawks.
Okay.
And that's where I've got Burden going because I'm like, I just think they want to infuse talent. They need to, no matter who's the quarterback there, Darnold for this year, and then whoever else down the road, they really don't see. Again, more power to him. Darnold has like another great year. I want to see that because anybody put through anything with the Jets. I know it's your division rival, but I want to see them do at least something positive because Woody Johnson's an idiot. Everybody that they've trotted through there has been dumb. I like Robert Saleh, but you're not in a winning situation there. You can't. And then Rodgers going there and pretty much bringing all this like fucking garbage, saying, "Hey, again, I liked Alan Lazard with the Packers. I liked Alan Lazard with the Jaguars. I loved Alan Lazard at Iowa State. I loved him there. But then, I need to get him here. I need to get him here. I need to get all these retreads here." It's like
made no sense.
It's WCW when they folded. We need to bring in Terry Funk. I love Terry Funk. Clint loved Terry Funk. I don't want to see Terry Funk after his like whatever movie that was, Beyond the Mat, and his like retirement match, and now he's still wrestling again. It's like no, Funk can barely get to the ring. These other guys, I don't need to have all these Packer retreads that Aaron Rodgers has like he signed like his soul away to these guys, and that's his deal. It's like, no, when you start giving that up as an organization, it's just such a bad look. I'm like, no.
And they paid Lazard so much money.
Yeah, you get 4 for 44 or whatever it was. I'm like,
you didn't need to do that.
This is why you don't let quarterbacks run the team.
Who are you bidding against? I mean,
yeah,
like nobody. Nobody's out there. I mean, Lazard knew that. Like, well, man, this other team offered me 3 for 38. I'll take 4 for 44 if you'd be willing. Okay.
There was nobody going to offer him $10 million a season
or $10 million a contract.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I Burden wherever he goes is gonna, I think, be. And Carolina would be another spot where they need some sort of receivers, 8 or whatever. That's too high. But if he's still somehow sitting there in that second round, which I hope he's not, I hope at least the Chargers would take him at that point. But
yeah, I would be surprised if we saw a receiver before 12, and that's where the Cowboys pick.
Yep.
The Jags could, but like I said, I don't. I think it's a little too rich. So then it's what's your flavor of receiver? Everyone coming into it had Ted McMillan number 1.
Yep.
I have a problem with a guy who's never open. So yes, you're good at contested catches, so you're Mike Williams. Would you draft Mike Williams with number 12 in the draft again if you had to do it?
No.
No. Now, is he useful? Yes. But number 12 in the draft? No. And what I don't get is there's Jaden Higgins, who's the exact same size, exact same production, going a whole round projected later.
Yep.
And he gets more separation because he runs better routes. So I'll take Jaden Higgins in the second for $500. I don't get the Ted McMillan. Like I said, you need big receivers. You got to have a big receiver on your team. But number 12, now, yes, you have CD Lamb, but it's just from a value standpoint, I think that would be a little – that's who I haven't taken because I think they're dumb. So, but, it isn't what I would do. It's what I think they're going to do, So they're thinking, well, we have Lamb, so he'll at least be one-on-one when he's doing these contested catches.
Yeah, it's –
I guess there's logic in that, but just not something I want to pay that high of a price for a guy who just consistently doesn't separate. And then Matthew Golden from Texas played the best in big games. Something to be said for that. Mm-hmm. That's who yours look to in the big games. So I put a little stock into that when you show up when it matters. So like his overall stats won't amaze you, but he runs well and he looks like he's fast when he's out there. And he showed up when it mattered. So he intrigues me a little bit. And then his Isaiah Bond's just a track star trying to play football. So pass.
Yeah. That's an Oakland Raider pick.
And then, like I said, Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, he's your safe. I don't ever have to worry about you no matter who I pair you with. You're going to be my number 2 receiver from the and you're going to be Mr. Consistent, and I can trust you, and you're not going to cause any problems. So he's the safe one.
I got him going to Baltimore. I got Golden a pick later to Detroit. Again, we're rarely right with this. I think the one year I had like 3 in a row, 4 in a row, where it's like,
oh yeah, I love when it like starts well, and I'm like, all right, I got 7 out of the first 8, and then it's like 20 picks later till I get another one.
then somebody
All it
trades
takes is one team to mess everything up, and then all your rest of your picks are messed up. Because I just do it based on number is how I count it. Like if they go in the 3rd slot, if they go in the 12th slot. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny. It'll start off sometimes like 6 out of 7. You're like, because I say if you get 10 right, you are better than the experts typically when I go through it. That's always my goal is to get 10. 14 is the best I've ever done.
I try not to count because like you said, after that first like
5's
6,
the worst, 14's the best.
like, okay, yeah, I got one at number 19, yes. And then it's like the rest are the worst is when you're off by like 1.
Oh yeah. Or the team trades up a spot or 2 and takes the guy you had him taken where they were at. You're like, well, the way I'm doing it, technically doesn't count.
I'm like, I'll give myself half a point for that.
Yeah.
I got the 18, but a lot of D linemen though this draft. A lot. Edge rusher. You've got a lot of edge rushers. You got a lot of cloggers. It's that first round, the second. You're gonna have a lot of choices. Which again, it isn't sexy for sitting on ESPN or NFL Network or wherever and seeing the big uglies, but you know from seeing in games if Josh Allen has 7 seconds to throw, Tom Brady has 6 seconds to throw, Pat Mahomes can just rush out a little and start like drifting towards the sideline. He's got 6, 7 seconds. You need somebody to rush these guys so they got like 3, 4 seconds, and that's it. I think Vinny would too. Vinny wants to see Shedeur Sanders in Pittsburgh.
Well, my own thought, I think that's a smokescreen because you wouldn't bring in Aaron Rodgers, which it sounds like it's just up to him. They are going to bring him in if he wants to play. We have already seen he is not Mr. Let's bring this guy in to mold my next guy. Okay.
Yeah. No.
He's not helping me with that. Okay?
No.
And I just don't think it's the Steelers' style to kind of settle. They did that with Kenny Pickett, backfired. Yeah. The quarterback fell to them. They were like, well, we almost have to take him, right? And I felt like that was a little bit what it was. But
I want to know what's like the relationship between Tomlin and Dion. That's where I don't know enough.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because that would seem like something. Because again, Tomlin, they got to be about the same age. Maybe Tomlin's a little older, but that might be. I don't know. That's where I want to.
I just don't think it's a good fit.
Well, no.
It's like I said, I kind of like Shedeur, but you got DK Metcalf and George Pickens, not Mr. Timing guys.
No.
Okay. Well, Shedeur needs to be a timing passer.
Yeah.
It's just not what the Steelers do. They haven't done it with Roethlisberger. They haven't done it since.
No.
So I just think it's a nightmare unless you are changing the way you play offense, which based on the receiver you just got and other things you aren't. I just think that's a bad marriage. Even though it's a great organization, just bad marriage.
They need to draft receivers that aren't head cases. I don't care
luck with that. Good
I don't care
luck.
how much talent there is. Again, Antonio Brown started without being a head case that I can remember, and then I don't know what hit in the head, and then he just.
So, like Ibuka to me is like a perfect Steeler if you were going to go wide receiver
for them. Yes.
He blocks. Steeler fans like that. And he won't cause problems. And he's a timing guy. So that would be perfect for your quarterback. So
I would like him in Green Bay.
yes, that would. Much more dependable than the Christian Watsons of the world.
Jesus.
I've got your Packers taking, and this is one of the two injury guys. Josh Simmons, tackle, Ohio State.
Dude, that's exactly what I had. You would fucking love that. Because I'm telling you, if he did not have the patella tendon injury, I think the Patriots take him at 4 because he is a Mike Vrabel guy.
Yeah.
Tough, nasty, and athletic at 6'7".
That's what I want. I want fat guys on the offensive line because it was glaringly that's been a strength for the Packers for the last 15 years. This last year was not the case, and it reared its head right in the first game of the playoffs where Elton Jenkins goes out real quick, and then it was over after that.
Right. Yeah, because you guys have the proper mindset now.
Yeah.
You just need to get the proper player for it.
Yep.
So, yes. But, yeah, I literally think he could have went 4 if he didn't have that patella tendon rupture, which, to my knowledge, nothing went wrong, and he should be ready for training camp.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just the nasty. He had a problem with holds his first year in college. He was grabby because he was basically a former basketball player. He didn't grow up being an offensive tackle. You know, but that's also why he has the athleticism he does and for how big he is.
Right.
But the last year and a half at Ohio State dominant tape. So.
And the other injured guy is one pick before who I absolutely loved until he got hurt for ECU, cornerback Siobhan Revel for my Chargers because Asante Samuel Jr. is still a free agent and doesn't look like he's coming back. I loved him there, and when he got hurt, I'm like, damn it. That's a team I always like to watch.
Yep.
Pretty much since Garrard was there, I'm like, I just enjoyed Eastern Carolina and watching them, or East Carolina. Another guy that could have been a top 8-10 pick. Could have been
that guy can get in your face, man. I like it. You know, that's how I like the corners to be.
I don't need you 6'1", 6'2", and slower. But when you're 6'2", 6'1", and you got some height, you got some jump, I'm trying to think of the term, when you can make up the time. Like if you get beat and the pass isn't a dart, you can make up. You got makeup speed, and I like that. He's instinctive, and again,
and he's still kind of raw because he just was like a walk-on there or whatever.
Yeah, this was
so again, not a guy who grew up doing this his whole life.
No.
So there's room for growth too, and he's already pretty good. So
yeah, and again, if you're starting to go, depending on what the Raiders do in the next couple of years, if they get a quarterback, I know Geno's there, but if you get people in place there, again, it's the wild AFC West. You're always throwing.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts? This is one I've got my thoughts on. I want to hear yours. Will Campbell.
Boring, safe. Can tell he played tackle or guard all his life. So some of the opposite of what I said about the other one.
Mm-hmm.
The short arms, I don't give two craps about because if you move your feet right, you get your sets right, it don't matter. You know, the arm thing comes into place when you aren't in proper position.
Yeah.
Okay. So that doesn't scare me, but he's just good. You know, he's kind of boring. He's good. He's not dominant, but he's good. He's not Joe Alt from last year.
No.
So
no.
like Joe Alt was picked 5th. He's a category down from that. So, but I like him. Safe. He can play tackle or guard, whatever you need. He's done both. But yeah, the short arms thing that I've heard 100 times with him, I don't see a problem because he's technically sound. That's kind of my thought.
And see, I don't mind him. I don't like where he's being projected.
Yeah.
It's like that's, and I watched a healthy chunk. I think it was a USC LSU game last year, and I know there's another LSU game I watched, and there was a lot of holding, a lot of false starts, a lot of, and again, for a guy that you're sitting there and people are talking top 10, top 5, New England, New England, New England. Again, can you coach that out of him? Possibly. But again, that shouldn't be that should be like a number 20, 25 pick. Can I coach this out of the guy? When you're taking top 5, it's not going to be a sure thing. That never is. But if I'm taking top 5, I want as many variables out of the way as possible, or any inconsistencies or yellow flags even. I don't need a red flag, a yellow flag. Man, arms, okay, yeah. Don't get put in a bad position. Your footwork's good. Holding, false starts, and then just a couple times being out of positions. Well, again, LSU sort of floundered a little bit. They weren't as great as they were last couple of years. Again, different personnel, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I will say, against the top competition, he never got dominated. There's only one game I saw where he got worked, and it would surprise people in Arkansas. My guy named Landon Jackson, random white defensive end who had Max Crosby written all over him, dominated him in that game. That is the only game of all the ones I watched where he got worked half the time. And so I was like, I don't even know who this guy was. I'm not even going to lie. So then I started like, well, who's Landon Jackson? And then I start going back and I'm like, well, this guy's actually pretty freaking good. He does this to multiple people. Yeah. So, but yeah, I will say that for Will Campbell, I never saw him get dominated, especially in the big games. So that's good. But as you said, he will have false starts like on the road and stuff, But from a technique standpoint, he's probably the best. But I'm with you at number 4. That's a need pick, and that's all you're drafting for. You're getting no value. But again, as we talked about, after Hunter and Carter gets picked, no one's trading up to you. So
no.
They have no – it's really just take your favorite offensive lineman because Lord knows they have to have it. Because they improved the defense in the offseason. That's pretty much set, the starters. So they have backed themselves into the old corner of we have to take a lineman, which is our favorite one. So.
And see, I've got them throwing the first curveball in the draft.
Oh, like I said, I would love to see a Josh Simmons right there. I would love it because I just think he's a perfect fit for Vrabel. But
and that's where Ashton Janetti. That's where I got them taken. That's because it goes completely against what they've done since basically Robert Edwards. Yeah. I know he's still second round, but still.
But Vrabel did have Derrick Henry for years, so he might go the thought process of, well, I know I can win doing this. And I'll have a better quarterback, hopefully, than I did in Tennessee. So,
and you can still, maybe you're sitting on your board and you're looking like second round. You're still going to be picking 36, 38.
Right. He'll still have at least guards, maybe not the tackles, but he'll have guards.
Yeah, but I mean, do something with that line then. But yeah, that's my thought process. Just again, you get May, and you see him running. I don't want him running. I don't like to see him run because he can, but at North Carolina he could. You try here, you've been hurt twice now. I want to see him try to do something, and Genetti's like leaks out of the backfield, and then guess what? Got something going because I don't want them taking a tight end that high. I mean, you're not at the point. You see what the Falcons did with Pitts. You take a tight end at 4 when you're not ready to. You've pretty much killed his value for any amount of time, and it killed your team because you weren't like that player away from, as we said earlier, the Super Bowl. So,
and to answer Paul's question, everyone, I'll do it for everyone has him in a first-round mock draft, but could slide because he doesn't have any production, but he has an amazing body, is Shamir Stewart from Texas A&M.
Yes.
Teams may just be like, well, you look like you're built in a lab, but you don't do much. So he may fall out of the first round if teams decide to pick football players, you know. But he is comfortably in every first round mock. That's the first guy that comes to mind of somebody that I would like to take on day 2 because you are a freak. I can maybe make you a football player, you know. But yeah, for a guy built like he is that he should just be a wrecking ball, and he's not. And so, is it a coaching thing? Is it he doesn't put the work in thing? I don't know. I can't answer that, but he just doesn't do much for how built he is.
The photos don't match the productivity level.
Right.
Should be there. I got him going to the
AI
Bengals.
built.
The Bengals, yeah.
So that
Him
would
to
be
the
my
Bengals. Just because you never know what they're going to do. They're dumb enough to take those projects. They've done it in the past. But on the other side of the ball in the line. And I don't know if Hendrickson gets his deal. They trade him. What the heck's going on there? I'd rather take Mike Green, even though with his
That's why I have the Bengals say, yep.
off-field issues, I'd rather take him because there's a lot of productivity.
Yep.
Again, it's not Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, whatever. Marshall's not a fucking shit school. This isn't Potato State or Peanuts A&M. They're good.
People in the community have a Marshall guy to collect this year. All right. So, yeah,
Fine.
he has consistent production for the last few years. He's in the backfield all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You got 18, 19 sacks, whatever it was last year, 2 years ago. It's like, okay, you're doing something right. You're not playing a tackling dummy at tackle.
Right, and he does, and it isn't like he has 14 sacks in 3 of the games where he played Rice.
Yeah. It's like, oh, man.
Here's something sometimes you have to look at, and that's not the case with him. So,
like the Make-A-Wish kids out of tackle. No, it's actual position players that you can go against. So I like him. What's your team gonna do? The Dolphins. That's I know that's what's gonna happen because I know that. I mean, that's every year that.
Well, if Mason Graham drops, it's the perfect one to pair him with Sealer. That would be awesome. That chances of him dropping to 13 is rare. That's ideal. For some reason, they refuse to take offensive linemen, so that's not it, even though that should be the obvious. So let's see. What would be next? Okay, they probably wouldn't take a running back that early, even though we don't need one.
Well, unless somebody ran like 4-1-40.
Wide receiver, because they're thinking, well, we're going to release Tyreek Hill next season, so how can we keep building from the outside instead of the inside? Let's see. Corner, because Jalen Ramsey will be gone soon too. But in all seriousness, Will Johnson, if he drops at corner, I'd be fine with, because that guy was a top 5 pick.
Yep.
But because he doesn't do all the offseason stuff, assuming the knee injury isn't something like bone on bone or something. Obviously, there's no way for us to know that. But
yeah.
Assuming it's a typical, knee injury, that guy is a top 5 pick, top 5 player in this draft. Give me Will Johnson all day. I'd have no problem with that. But otherwise, I want Tyler Booker, Donovan Jackson, both guards, Josh Simmons if he was there. Give me some big guys. Other defensive tackle, Walter Nolan. I need the fat guys because we have nothing there. So the needs is any fat guy, I'll be happy. And the only exception, if you do go corner, Johnson and maybe Barron from Texas.
And that's who
I'll let it slide.
I got Barron there.
Yeah. Those I'll let it slide, but that's it. If I see a receiver, a running back, a quarterback, I'm going to freaking lose my mind. So that'll give you
Colston,
something to watch.
Colston Loveland, get a tight end. Be like,
Mhm.
yeah, woohoo. Can he block? No. Can he rush the passer? No.
I don't know. I went from 2 years ago before injury to having a possible Super Bowl squad to just wanting to hang myself. It's just going to be over.
And we all laughed at Bo Nix for the Broncos. Like, oh, good luck, Steve. Hey, see you next year at number 1. And you're like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's one as of right now I look wrong on. Because I said he was, well, we don't know if he's Mac Jones yet because Mac Jones looked good his first year. But that's who I compared him to. So the first half of the year, he looked like Mac Jones. Check down Charlie. But then he actually made plays down the field the second half of the year. So if he does that, I'm going to be wrong.
He looked like generic mac and cheese the first half. And
But yeah, first half, he was exactly what I thought. You're competent. You know what you're doing. Sean Payton's perfect for you. Then the second half, he made plays off script. So
it's one of those things where, like, again, you've heard it so many times in so many sports. You catch up to the speed of the game and it starts to slow down a little bit for you in certain instances where instead of thinking, you're like just reacting. And not reacting in just a dumb sense, you're reacting like, okay, I see what's going on instead of I'm just running to save my life. So as much as I hate to give the Broncos any sort of credit whatsoever.
but that's where perfect fit. When we said that, even when he was drafted, like, he does get drafted there, it's perfect. I just wanted it in a later round. Yeah. But yeah.
That's our sponsor tonight, Brad. Perfect Fit Sleeves.
Perfect fit sleeves. Save 10%. Use the code.
Use the code fuck you, vintage.
And to give people an idea of quarterbacks, Cam Ward would have went where J.J. McCarthy did in last year's draft to give people a mental thing of where the quarterbacks are in this class compared to the previous year.
Yeah, just because they're going number 1 overall doesn't mean you're apple to apples. This isn't like Burrow to Herbert.
This is EJ Manuel.
Yeah. The EJ Manuel and fucking Geno.
So that's where he would have, if the same thing happened, he would have went right around where J.J. McCarthy did. The 5th quarterback.
That'll be a lot of the story after the draft, Mr. Kirk Cousins, speaking of J.J. McCarthy.
Where is Kirk Cousins?
He's still in Atlanta. Now that's what people are forgetting is Penix was hurt half his college career.
Yeah.
Just keep him. You're not saving money.
Right.
You've already paid him $10 million. Just keep him on the roster. Kirk Cousins will not cause you problems. So he's not that type of guy. So it's not like a locker room cancer.
No, because he's at the OTAs right now.
But yeah, Penix has played a full season once in 4 years or whatever. Just keep him. Yeah, I don't get it. So
it's like nobody's going to offer you like a day 2 pick for him. At that price.
You're not getting anything. That's what I say about the Dolphins with Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. I'm saving no cap money, and I'm getting 5th-round picks. Just keep them for this year. Maybe we get lucky and find lightning in a bottle again. Maybe they all stay healthy for once.
Yeah.
I don't want the 5th-round pick. Okay, I'm not saving it. Next year we can at least save some cap space when we trade or release them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see him traded this year because it's doing me no good.
No. Packers, what do you think they do? They goal line?
Yeah, they'll do best player probably. Well, who they think. But yeah, I think in that range, the best player is going to be an offensive lineman. So that's why I think that's what they'll go.
Pittsburgh.
I had him taking basically a Cam Hayward replacement and Derek Harmon from Oregon.
Okay.
That's basically what he could. I mean, Harmon was in the backfield more than any defensive tackle on pass rush snaps. So
And I got
he's
him.
good against the run. The only guy who dominated him was Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. That was the only time he ever got dominated. So Donovan Jackson's one of my man crushes too, by the way. Give me that guy.
Denver.
And this is where are they in a spot where they can take the luxury running back? Now, I like Henderson more than Hampton, but the consensus is Hampton's over Henderson. I think Henderson gives you more juice. Hampton's probably just a little better overall doing everything. But the way Sean Payton always finds these random third down backs anyways, that's easier to find than the guy who just constantly seems to break 20-yard runs. I'm a Henderson guy over Hampton, but I like them both.
I want the miracle. I want their guy to fall somehow.
But
Just saying. Hey, I can dream, right? I can hope. I can wish.
I guess you can. I mean,
It's not going to happen.
they got pretty good play, but if a Jahad Campbell would fly there at linebacker, that guy does everything. Another one of my man crushes. He would almost be too good not to take if he's there at 20. And the linebackers kind of suck this year in the draft.
mm-hmm.
And when I say linebacker, I'm talking about true stand-up. I'm not talking about edge rushers.
And that's the other thing, because Denver is in one of those unusual situations for them in which they could technically take the best player available.
Right. So, it's really
Do
they go the luxury route and draft their favorite running back left.
Yep. Do they have gaps to fill? Of course they do, because they lost Javonte. But, it's not like they don't have a running back.
Right.
Or three. So, again, it's an unusual situation for them, because I can't remember the last time they've been in a position to where they could technically just take the best player on the board and be able to plug them in.
And yes, Duke, he should go into round 2. He's kind of your back with more size, Caleb Johnson from Iowa. So a lot of these backs, it's just going to be dependent on who drafts them. So that'll be I'll probably make a video of my favorite draft pick, because some of these guys are bulletproof. No matter who drafts them, I think they're going to be good. When it comes to running backs, it really is who drafts them. So
The kid from Arizona State. I'm trying to remember his name. I could picture him. The running back. I have to break up the guide. I've got to break up the guide. I can see him.
Oh, Cam Scatterbo.
Yes.
And
I know
the first one never tackles him.
And I know that's not going to be somebody you're going to hear in round 1, 2, maybe.
Yeah, that's day 3, because he doesn't run well.
So if somebody really wants
running 50 yards, that's what I always say. It's that's a bonus when you get the guy who can go 50, 60 yards. But how often is that happening?
Yeah.
So, I think he's a good fit, especially you want a little toughness. Dolphins. Late in the round, a guy who will get you those 2-3 yards in a pin. Oh, runs with attitude. I like it.
No, and like I said, I think that's if somebody takes him third and on compensatories, just to make sure, fourth round, because that's usually when we see a lot of trades go on. Because now you've had that second day to sort of sift through the rubble of what's going on in the draft. Okay, what's out there? Why are these people out there? Start talking about hey, why did this guy slip? what concerns. So just depending on what's going on. I like him. I like you said, toughness at a position where people don't take on the contact like they used to.
You're right.
He does.
Oh, yeah, he will look for it in the open. But he is agile. Like, he's got very good balance. Like, yeah, he's just kind of short, and he doesn't run real fast. So he'll drop. But perfect. He's not your full-time guy.
No.
Yeah. I think he's perfect round 5, 4, whatever. Oh, all day. Or end of round 3, you know, if you've got those extra picks like the 49ers always do. You know.
Yeah, even like an Eagles, you want to get Saquon out for a series, put him in. And again, that'd be the perfect guy for that crowd, that fan base. You go to the Giants, you're probably going to be cut in 6 months because they don't know what they're doing.
And then a couple comments. American Hampton to Dallas. I could see Dallas doing something like that. Yes.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
absolutely. And it's not anything to do with Hampton either. It's just, you know, at 12.
Jerry Jones is a special man.
And then Troy's right. He would pair good with Chase Brown. Yes. I like it.
Very nice there. Yeah, that. And they need talent, so I could see them actually trading back and trying to get. What's wrong with your wrist? You hurt it?
Why is his wrist hurting?
Yeah,
coming up on 2 hours.
It's contorted. Without putting your credenza together, you hurt it.
Just letting you know.
Okay.
That's my only job worth it. Like, that's the only thing I do around here is time checks.
You want to be the research department?
No.
Okay then.
What about Chargers? What do you got for them?
I gave them that Shamir Stewart guy.
Of course.
Lost Bosa. I figured that was a perfect Charger.
In the words for Zach, Harry Ballsacks, that's what he has for the Chargers.
But if you wanted to go with familiarity, Kenneth Grant from Michigan as a big defensive tackle. I didn't put him in round 1 because I don't know, can he rush the passer? He's got the athleticism at 340 or 350 or whatever he is to do so, but he didn't really show a whole lot of it. So if he's just a 2-down player, you can't draft him in round 1. But if you think you can get some pass rush out of him, he'd be perfect fit for the Chargers. And Harbaugh is the one who recruited him in the first place. So.
I got 8 picks later. I got Grant to Buffalo. They're used to fat middle guys.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like I said, if he can – because he's got the athleticism to be good at it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that could be – I mean, I wouldn't be mad at 13 for the Dolphins because we need a guy like that. But it's just hard if you're not sure you're getting the pressures in the passing department.
Well, yeah, you get first and second down. That's a tough pill to force your fan base to swallow. Hey, he's a 2-down player. Well,
but people do not appreciate the big fat guys until they get hurt and you have no one on your roster to replace them. Ask the Bears last season, their defense went to complete crap when Andrew Billings got hurt. Well, all of a sudden, people just ran on them and everybody's like, what's going on? I'm like, it's the big fat guy that no one ever talks about. It's not there anymore, and it threw everything out of whack.
Isn't that what Queen sang about? Fat bottom boys make the good iron go round.
That's right.
But it's like hockey. All the poutine boys make the.
Sure, I could absolutely see Dart going over Sanders. I know for a fact teams will have Dart over Sanders, some of them. But
so speaking of which,
I don't think at 9. I think Dart to the Rams is perfect. That would be if I was Jackson Dart, I would be like, please let me fall to 26.
That's what I got.
It saved my career before it even started. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I wouldn't put anything past Jerry on what he's willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he trades Parsons.
God, you would like that would be almost as bad as Nico Harrison trading Doncic.
Well,
like I'm
but
just
You know
saying.
how important he was to our fans.
you
Yeah,
gotta
like and who in their fucking right mind as a GM would ever freaking like admit that in public?
well,
Like, are you stupid? Anyways,
Let's trade Alexander Ovechkin next year to the Penguins. Let's see how that goes out. The shit. But Gino and Sid and the Penguins gave him a Rolex for breaking the record.
Yep.
Somehow I could see Jerry figuring out some way, shape, form, or fashion to get both Shador and Travis Hunter in a Dallas Cowboys uniform. Not sure how he would do it, but somehow, like I could see it, and that would be the dumbest thing ever. Yet Dallas Cowboy fans will fucking love it somehow.
yeah, trade
sure why.
Nico Parsons for number 2. Then you trade.
Dak.
Yeah, you trade Dak and probably your first to New York for their first and maybe some other pick.
You have to play with the trade simulator.
You're right.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to send somebody back for dollar-wise because you can't just trade fucking Dak for a pick. That's far too much.
Zach
Well,
Jackson,
no,
I
'cause-
said it earlier, he could end up being the most talented of the bunch.
Yeah,
So I could see, I wouldn't argue with that at all. But I could also see him, I compared him to Zach Wilson coming out, he could also end up like Zach Wilson. So,
oh yeah, you've seen how many of these like quarterbacks that you can just you don't even get the rose color that starts to just that red hue a little bit. You're like, ooh. But I can see something down the road. It's like this is like a poor man's Baker Mayfield or something like that. It's like, what? No, just
and someone asked about Travis Hunter. We didn't really talk about it, but if I'm his agent, I am telling him to focus on wide receiver because it's easier, it pays more. Yeah, I'm like,
you're
you
not gonna
perfect
get-
that craft.
Yeah, you're not going to get paid any more money if you're attempting to think that you're going to play both ways.
So he will play both sides to start out. I have no doubt.
yeah.
We'll see how long it lasts. But yeah, I would sorely encourage him. And it's not because he can't play corner, because he absolutely can. And he's actually a unicorn corner at his size and catch ability.
Yep.
You know, but it's just so much easier to play wide receiver than it is corner.
Well, and
So
again,
I would beg him.
he's not going to get paid any more money.
Right. So it's like, just be the wide receiver, perfect that craft. You'll be an all pro. I have no doubt about it if he committed to it. So, but yeah, he's definitely got the goods at either. But if I was his agent, I would sorely encourage him to be a wide receiver and perfect that.
Where again, yeah, you're going. Yeah, you played how many snaps? Like 2,500 snaps, I think. You're not playing against the NFL players. They will be singling you out.
Well, he's not going to be cornerback one anyways. He's not going to be going against number one. Like there is no way. If I was any NFL defensive coordinator, I would not be putting him up against any NFL number one to start.
And
there ain't a
the
chance in hell.
Browns would be okay because they have Denzel Ward, assuming he doesn't get any more concussions. So
yeah,
that would actually be a good fit. He doesn't have to get the number one guy. So maybe it'll work. Like I said, I have no doubt the first year he will try it. But we'll see.
I mean, a 2, a 3, like I could see. Like I'll give him that. But an NFL number one, no. Not happening.
He's got the NFL ego for first team Hall of Fame, but yeah, I don't.
I mean, now I will say about him, he seems clean. He seems like he works hard. He seems, he's not a diva really. I mean, he's confident because all corners and wide receivers are. But yeah, I actually think he's safe. I have zero.
There's nothing negative about the kid.
Yeah,
and I just.
Is he going to be the unicorn? Maybe.
Except his choice in women.
Well, yeah.
That seems like a nightmare.
That's young and dumb,
Yes.
The first one's got to be young and dumb,
right? Any boxes? What? Sorry, Christmas episode.
So, Zach, I'm taking it that you're a Cowboys fan, right?
It almost seems that way. Live in Dallas, not a fan. Hate him. Just figured I'd throw that out there in case anybody didn't know.
The thing with Hunter though, and I know you said it about a week or two ago, that a team doesn't allow me to play both sides of the ball, I'll just retire. And that's sort of the issue now. It's like you have some of these guys that are making how much money through the NIL, through all these sponsorships, endorsements.
But let's remember something, though, Dave. Caleb Williams came out and said, I don't care who drafts me. Unless I get a percentage of the franchise, I'm not playing.
I get that. That's a different story, though. That's nobody's getting that.
That's one of the craziest asks ever.
Agreed, but at the same time,
that's where you start high and then
but he was adamant.
He
was adamant.
You get 2 season tickets, top 10. That's it.
But again, but adamant.
Yeah.
Unless I get 10% or whatever the percentage was, I won't play for you.
Oh, I get it.
That changed real fast. And on the flip side, nothing against Hunter. You can come out and make all the demands that you want to. You're a fucking rookie, buddy. You were at the bottom of the totem pole.
I know, but you see who's like his cult leader. It's Dion. Dion is a great promoter, but he is a loser.
Yes, but that would only fly in certain franchises where he actually would have some sort of input into the possibility of that actually being a thing.
But that's why I worry about him going to Cleveland, because Cleveland is such a shithole.
But again though, if I can't play both ways, I'm going to retire. Dude, you're 20-something years old. You're going to turn away millions of dollars. I call bullshit.
He'll be a rapper.
God, bullshit.
When it happens, timestamp it.
You are not going to throw away millions of dollars because you aren't going to get your way like a little crying baby. Bullshit.
We've seen it before. People are stupid when they start getting the people in their ear.
You're right. I can't argue against that. I find that very hard to believe that anybody with as much talent as that kid has would seriously throw away the potential of tens of millions of dollars across a career because I can't play two ways. No.
I get it.
Yes, Zach, I mentioned him earlier, how he was a much better value in round 2 than taking McMillan in round 1. So that's what the Cowboys should look at.
I think the Cowboys should be subtracted.
Actually, I think there's something out there along the lines of he's expecting to play both ways. I thought I caught a blurb of that somewhere.
Yeah, I saw that reported on, again, I'd have to go back on trade rumors that someone had mentioned that. And again, with that camp, with that whole Colorado Dion thing, it's great for them, for college football. Great for them. Not like they set the world on fire. There wasn't conference championships. There wasn't title pictures. I mean, yeah, you start hot and then you fade.
ESPN reported it. Travis
So-
Hunter would quit football if he can't play both ways. April 15th, 2025.
So I when you've had basically everything, again, since you got to Jackson State, tell me this. And I don't want to hear like he wanted to go to a historically black college. You're what he was top 5, top 2, top 3 recruit in the country. And you're going to Jackson State.
It wasn't because he's a genius.
I'm just saying. I'm going to take nothing away from Jackson State and their whatever educational ability. This is, and it's not like McNair. McNair wasn't a high prospect for Alcorn State. This isn't like a top 3 quarterback saying, you know what, USC, you know what, Penn State, you know what, Michigan, you know what, Florida State, Texas, wherever. I don't want to go there. I want to go to Jackson State. Where do you want to go vacation? Paris? London? Melbourne? Tokyo? Pocatello, Idaho. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. There's always some. And again, I know Dion's at Jackson State. That, to me, that just isn't like a. There's always underlying something or another. So when you've basically been given everything from the day one of your college, and nobody's ever said boo, that becomes built into your mindset. So I'd stay away from Shadur because of Dion. I don't want him. He's the villain in the old Scooby-Doo. He pulled the mask off. I would have gotten away with because you meddling kids. No, you're the meddling kid, Dion. You just can't keep your hand out of the cookie jar.
He's LeVar Ball of football.
It is. He's the big ball, and no, just you don't. He's the helicopter dad. So I would stay away from Shadur. I'd stay away from Hunter. Hunter has all-world talent. I know this. Brad knows this. Vincenzo knows this. Michael knows this. Steve knows this. But I would not want him on my team. I don't want that kind of drama, and you don't know what stupid stuff he's going to say. That's another thing, like, because you're going to put cameras and microphones in front of him, and guess what? It's like a lot of other people in the world. You put that, and you want the attention, you like the attention. I'm going to talk. You keep putting the microphone in front of me, and you keep asking questions. You can be coached on what to say, but at some point, he ain't going to say anything positive. So we'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens with Shadur. I think, who was it that one of them, is it Dart? Dart or Shadur not going to the draft?
Yeah, Dart definitely isn't.
Shador isn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, Shador said that last week or 2 weeks ago. He wasn't going. Right about the time he realized he wasn't going in the first round.
I can only hope. And then, no rip on Green Bay, but it's in Green Bay. That, to me, that's the perfect spot for a draft.
I cannot even imagine how they're going to handle that many people.
No, because you've been there, I've been there, and we've been there recently, so it's not like
Because it's literally in a residential area, right?
basically.
Yes, it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah. You look across the street, there's a picket fence and there's a house.
Yeah.
I didn't actually look to see, are they having it around the stadium or somewhere else?
Yes, the this lady who owns a house that's right there across from the stadium had pictures from her backyard of the back of the draft.
So they are doing it right. Okay, that's why I wasn't sure if they were doing it right there. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't know where they're putting all the people. Because I think they said the expectation was, I think I had heard like 300,000 people coming in for the draft.
That's wild.
That's a lot of people, and there's nowhere to put them.
No.
Yeah, even if it's 100,000 a day.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know they were running shuttles from Milwaukee. Because that's where people are going to be staying.
I know my brother will probably be having fun in Appleton because that's where the airport is to get into Green Bay.
Yeah.
And that's about 20 minutes, a half hour away.
And it can only hold so many private planes.
Oh,
but
my
I
God.
do like the fact they had it in an old school football town.
Yes.
I like that.
For sure.
I like the fact they're moving it around. So,
yeah,
I hope this works out for them because I wanted to see them keep doing that. So, hopefully, it's not a disaster.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be somebody who lived around there.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine what Scotty's going to have to deal with and being around there. Joey's to the north, so he won't have to worry too much. But
no, Joey's over an hour away.
Yeah, Scott will be struggling. Hopefully, he took time off and said, "You know what?"
There were a lot of people. There were a lot of people in the Packers group that were renting out their driveways for parking.
Oh, I believe you can make
anywhere from $50 to $100 a day for a spot. And I know, like, Verbos and stuff like that were insane amounts of money. Because there's really not much lodging around that place.
No, there's. I'm trying to remember if there's one near the exit. I think there's like a fleet farm down that way by the exit, coming up from Appleton. But I mean, you got hotels, but it's not like around St. Louis or something like that where you've got tons and tons of options and
yeah.
Ooh, I like this Zach Jackson guy. Now he's going deep. I like it. Quincy Riley, day 3 pick right there. I like it. Corner. Zach knows the stuff, I think.
Personal taste and team otherwise.
Well, yeah, Louisville did well last year after 2 years ago, just being literally dog shit.
Yeah, there's so much transferring now that
God.
It literally is year to year now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard evaluating these players too, because they play in one system one year, the next year.
Yeah, they're not doing themselves any favors by jumping around.
Like, okay. So, because I am seeing an increase of you were great one year, crappy the next, good the next, and I think that's wise because there's so much. Just if you're a tackle, your guard transferred last year. If you're, your safety partner were transferred this year. And all that. So
yeah, I never want to see like the back of a Topps rookie card. And you had the 4 years of college, 3 years of college, whatever it was. And then, okay, there it is, like Oregon State, Oregon State, Oregon State. Now it's like Dylan Gabriel, well, Oklahoma, then or Central Florida, then Oklahoma, then Oregon. It's like, and you're there for like 6-7 years. It's like you've already got a half a career in just in college, which I don't know.
The good news is Panini doesn't put stats on the back of cards, so it doesn't matter.
I get that, but at the same time, like, I think thankfully now, I think the COVID stuff, eligibility wise, is done. So you're not going to have like extra years, and you're like, I don't remember where was it, BYU. Somebody's like a 33 or 34-year-old player on a team. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, this isn't like a beer league or something. This is, you're playing like D1. That's like a gunner or something. Or like, what are we doing out here?
Yep.
Wasn't there somebody
dangerous too? And well, we're all been here. We were way different at 25 than you were at 18. Just from the whole physical state, it's like it can be dangerous,
Yeah, just because you find the golden ticket in your Wonka candy bar doesn't mean you get to use it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, wasn't there somebody that was playing year 8 or year 9?
Yes.
I thought it was.
I don't know. That it may have been.
No, there was something ridiculous.
Yeah,
like I said, they had a quarterback that was in year 6, but there's another guy that was in year even worse than that.
Yeah, I thought there was another quarterback too. Like somebody that came like 17 that he came in and a transfer, and then COVID years, and then like an ACL or a shoulder, and it's like you're gonna get like tenure in fucking college.
Yeah,
and you're not a lawyer or a doctor. It's like, how is that working out?
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Yeah, doctors. Was there a Niner in there?
Hey now. Just because it took me 8 years to get my college degree.
Well, you were scarred from your experience with Mark Henry.
No, that had nothing to do with it. That was well after that.
Wow. Just saying. You could have used it.
Nah. It's called life.
So any late round gems, Brad, that we should be looking out for that kicker that we need, or that.
Yeah, I think there's only going to be 2 kickers drafted. So,
and one of them will be
that isn't even strong either.
No.
So yeah, there's no like amazing can't miss kicker this year. I would say DJ Giddens, Kansas State running back.
Okay.
I really like him. Like I said, the talent gets dried up about after the 4th round this year, man. You can pretty much choose any running back you want. That's probably your safest bet. But I also like Elijah Arroyo from Miami as a tight end. Developmental, could be a future 800, 900-yard guy. Very athletic. Just, again, have to continue to teach him how to play football. But those are 2 guys I like: DJ Giddens, Elijah Arroyo.
I gotta look up the name because I can't remember him. I know he was from Miami, the receiver. He had all the record. He broke Irvin's record.
Restrepo.
Yeah, Xavier Restrepo.
Yep, the guy gets open.
That's a guy I watched, I don't know, 3-4 games with him, and I'm like, that's a guy. Again, there was a couple games where he sort of faded out, but they really weren't needing to use him. It was more the deep ball instead of something that was a middle crossing and safety didn't bite. Or
he's the give him the vet quarterback, and the vet quarterback will love him. Don't give him to the rookie quarterback, but give him to the Aaron Rodgers of the world. Those guys that are still around, they'll love him.
Jack Beck.
Okay.
Is he from TCU?
Wide receiver. Yeah.
That's another one that I watched a few games of, and again, trying to remember who they beat or who they lost to. Somebody early on, but he had a big game, and I'm like, always wary of the white receiver that does well. I don't know. I shouldn't be, but I'm just like, but he
You can't
showed
talk
up.
about the only guy that I saw beat Travis Hunter twice deep. You know, you can always get a guy once, but getting him twice, and that's Kyle Williams from Washington State.
Okay.
He's the big play guy. Now, I wouldn't call him a late sleeper. He'll go in late round 2, early round 3. But yeah, that was the only guy I saw beat Travis Hunter twice. So,
And then the kid from Stanford, a millionaire or whatever. I like him.
Oh, Ruminar, yeah.
The Scrabble triple word score. I think that was another one I watched because they came back on Colorado because I think they were down by a healthy chunk, and he put up. Don't hold me to it, but I think it was like close to 250, 300 yards receiving in that game. So I mean, again, you're doing that against not a national title contender, but I think that was another solid, like a 3rd round, 4th round guy that you plug him in at number 3, you're good to go.
For sure.
What about Tyrion Ingram Dawkins?
I don't really hardly know him, to be honest with you. So that's a good one because I don't recall. Who does he play for?
So Barry or
Well,
Baron.
my notes. Do I know him? Yeah, you might have got. That was the first one that got me. I don't know.
Research department.
Yeah. Another cool one. His last name
Wrong
is
sport.
So he's already got from Arkansas. He's a 6'4" slot receiver. Have we ever seen that in our lives?
No.
But he is a slot receiver, like the kind of routes he runs.
Okay, D tackle for Dawkins out of Georgia. Number 1 player in South Carolina coming out of high school.
Oh, so Georgia defensive tackle. Okay. I think I might recall seeing him when you were watching Jalen Walker and Mekhi Williams and all them guys.
His pro comp, at least in the Lindy's Sports, says Taven Bryan from the Colts, which I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Okay.
But they say 4th, 5th round in there. But again, they say 22nd D tackle. So I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Alabamas. There's so many guys who get very little playing time that were high recruits.
Yeah.
So
because
that's
everybody's
probably a perfect kind of guy to pick because it's like, hey, I may be good. It's just these guys were freakish, you know.
And then
I didn't do any homework on him. So.
And then even if you do your job and do it well, it's like, well, these other guys are still doing their job well too. So you can't have 5, 6 edge rushers or D tackles on the field at one time. Be nice to, but that's something where you look at the tape, you're like, okay, can I do something with him? Can I mold him a little more? Can we work with him and get him in a so yeah, George is probably the safest college team to pluck. I mean, unless you want them driving.
Yeah.
Then don't just stay away from them.
No, and I'll just say it now. We all know the Ravens are going to draft someone that no one should have let them draft in the first place.
Oh.
And we're all going to love their draft. So they're going to get – well, the reason why I thought of Georgia is because I had him drafting Malachi Starks, who's like the safest guy in this draft. And I just know he's going to fall to them. And he's going to pair him with Kyle Hamilton. And it's just going
to be amazing.
Yes. I just know it's going to happen.
And I would like Starks in Green Bay.
Yeah, he does. He's just good.
I like him.
Can even do slot work as a safety, which not everyone can do that either.
No.
The Packers were drafting Georgia guys like crazy the last few years. Stokes did not work out.
No.
He
Bullard
couldn't
looked like he might work out.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why a lot of these Georgia guys don't put up great stats in college because there's so many good ones that they all have like 6 sacks.
Yep. They're
or
just a
2
rotation.
interceptions. And you're like, so you can't, if you go off stats, you're going to be like, these guys get drafted in the first round. You know?
Yeah, when you play in an all-star team of like top 2-3 recruits at your position and the other top recruit is there, it's like, well, at least you know you're pushing yourself. Because if you're not, you're going down to lost attack and you're playing down there. So the one guy I don't like from Georgia, I'll say this. Etienne. I don't like his brother that's a running back there. I watched him.
Yeah.
He did nothing for me. Nothing. So when people start getting excited about him, I said, you take him. I will gladly laugh at you.
Yeah. He's like my running back like 20. So, yeah. He's just a guy.
He's my running back 20 for the USFL. The Brahma Bulls or whatever the Houston team can take him. I don't get the hell out of here. Anything else, Brad? Any other tidbits?
I don't think I have any much more interesting things for you. I think I'm good.
Easter favorites?
There's really only one. When you asked me this question, I was like, do I buy anything else? The Reese peanut butter egg. By far the best Reese in history.
And the white one is better than the chocolate.
Okay, now we had to ruin it. But you'll get your moment. Okay, now I was just getting hungry thinking about it. Okay. But by far, other than that, I will sometimes, because I don't really like jelly beans, but the sweet tart jelly beans, I've
Thank
got
you.
the last couple of years.
Thank you.
Those were good.
The Starburst favorites that come out at Easter are my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, Starburst jelly beans, period.
So yeah, I really only had those 2 things that have been consistent the last years. The Reese peanut butter egg, though. It's
that's what I had
the
earlier.
amount of peanut butter to chocolate or white chocolate.
100%.
That is just way better than the regular Reese cup.
Yes.
By far, I don't even eat regular Reese's.
Oh yeah.
I eat Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces are delicious.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
peanut butter cup, especially the minis. The minis are terrible because it's all chocolate with a piece of hard, dry peanut butter in it.
Yep.
They're terrible.
So yeah, I didn't have 5 for you, Dave. Those were the only 2 I really. I was like, I don't
funny.
really buy any other Easter candy.
I was the same way, Brad. Same thing. Reese's eggs and jelly beans. That's it.
And then like when it comes to like an Easter dinner, it's not like a Thanksgiving or where it's just kind of like I'll eat whatever. Like it's not like a must for me. You know, nothing.
I cooked pot roast this year.
Yeah, like I feel like you can do anything for Easter. I'd rather just have like fried chicken personally. You know.
I had chicken thighs. I just put barbecue sauce on them, baked them, and then had pancit canton, which is like the Philippine ramen noodles. You drain the water. There's the ramen seasoning packet, but then there's also like soy sauce and oil in there too. So I had that and then something else. I don't even remember. That's how mac and cheese. So I had Kraft mac and cheese out of the good stuff, the deluxe. So that's what I had for Easter.
Okay.
We had lasagna with garlic bread.
There you go.
But that's what I mean. That's it.
Great choice.
I hate the expectation of like Thanksgiving has to be turkey or Christmas has to be ham. It doesn't. I like ham now. This is like the time when, and I ate a bunch of ham at the store and at home, but I didn't serve it for Easter dinner. And number 1 on the list is always deviled eggs.
Stay away from Dave.
But I also had the Reese's Eggs, and I had Sweethearts, like the Chicks and the Peeps. Those. And I couldn't find shit for them. Trista found, I think, 4 bags. So I've had one already, and I try to portion it out because I don't want to eat all of it in one sitting because I'm watching my figure.
Said absolutely nobody.
Well, I have to because when I walk, my peripheral vision, I see it. But yeah, some of them jelly beans are like, I don't even know if it's like it's not sour, like the Warhead. Somebody else in like that group has like a really good jelly bean too that's got some pop to it. And the old school ones, I don't mind. I hate the black ones. Those ones, I throw them in the fucking road.
Yep.
Fuck them.
Talking about the licorice flavor.
Oh, God, that's trash.
Yeah.
Like black licorice. I'm sorry. Unsubscribe. Unfollow. Go to Strongsville and sell your 57 tops. No. So,
Oh, and before we keep going, Zach, we love fat guys, and I didn't talk about the fattest guy in the draft. So thanks for bringing it up. 464-pound defensive tackle from Florida. Problem is, one guy can still block him. That's why he's falling through the ranks.
Yeah.
If you're 464, you must require a double team to get drafted in the NFL. Yeah. And good guards can block him one-on-one. So that's why he's falling.
He needs to lose 100 pounds, and he's still massive.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes the triple team to stop him from the buffet, but that's not.
And quality guards can block him one-on-one, so that's why he's dropped.
He is not Billy Bob from Varsity Blues.
No. The concussion counter. Benny, what do you got for some Easter stuff?
Easter candy. 5 was chocolate rabbit, the hollow ones, or runner-up was chocolate eggs, the solid ones that had the coconut or the peanut butter. My cousin Nick, his wife used to make those homemade. Oh, Madon. Just unbelievable. The Reese's Eggs or Reese Pieces for Easter, jelly beans, Cadbury eggs, and the Snickers Twix eggs, candy-wise.
I was going to say Snickers eggs are good, too.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, though.
Easter meals, 5 is pasta, lasagna, cannelloni, metagot, whatever. It's what we had for Easter. Stuffed peppers, ribs or ham, pork and potatoes, or my personal favorite, lamb and roasted potatoes. Because, well, lamb is like my favorite meal. And when I went to a wedding last year and they brought out about 5 pounds of lamb and put in front of my fat ass, and everybody looks like, what is that? I'm like, it's lamb. It's like $20 a freaking pound. And they're like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, good, more for me. I ate probably a pound of it, and then they moved it from in front of me. And I'm like, bring it back. And then I got a little bit more. I got about another half a pound on my plate. And then they took it. Then I had a filet mignon with potatoes that was dripped in the lamb juice. Oh, I'll never be like that bearded weirdo guy says, I'll never be a skinny man. And that's why. And then brackets for NHL. Jets over Blues, Stars over Avs, VKG over Wild. This is a tough one. I was hoping the Oilers, but I think it's going to be the Kings. And then it's going to be the Stars and the Kings, and then the Kings playing the Stanley Cup playoffs. Leafs beat the Sens, Panthers beat the Lightning, Caps beat the Habs, Carolina beats New Jersey. Caps beat Carolina, Panthers beat Leafs, Caps beat Panthers, Stanley Cup final, Kings and Caps. Caps, baby. I think it's one more year, and I don't think he retires if he wins the Stanley Cup. I think he plays to get 900 goals because people say he can't do it. And, well, I don't think Alex is done yet. I think he's got 3 or 4 more years. I think Sid's got 3 or 4 more years. I think Gino might retire faster than Sid. I think Letang maybe has 2 years left in him. Those draft years that are in that 5 to 8, 9, Tavares, Kopitar, all these guys, a whole generation is going to retire here at once, and it's going to suck. It's going to be like 2000 to 2005. There was not a lot of stuff in hockey that was exciting. Then 05 happened, and it's just been gangbusters since. It hasn't slowed down, and it's been beautiful. But I think we're coming into, I don't know if Bedard's the answer, but we shall see. There's the hockey thing. There's your hockey minute with Vincenzo.
Hey, Vincenzo, can you answer me why no one hit Sidney Crosby, especially up high? Like I see so many times in a game where you could take like that extra shot, and no one ever does it to him. Is it just a respect thing?
I think it's more that he was hit so many times up high, and if he takes one more up high, he's going to be a drooling idiot.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about like a clear cheap shot, but on the edge, let's hit him every chance we get up against him. I notice guys don't do that to him.
Nobody wants to be the guy that ends his career.
Correct. Same thing.
It's actually my mom that noticed it. Believe it.
Yeah, it's because he
has a real punchable face. Why is nobody hitting him?
Yeah.
Well, she noticed it because she's like, wait a minute, they smacked the hell out of that guy, but he goes against the boards, and it's like a. I would knock him out.
Because like, from 05 to about 2019, I think, is when he was out for almost a whole year with that serious ass concussion, which was like his 3rd or 4th one. See, I wasn't a big Sid guy until probably 4 or 5 years ago because the Lemieux thing he was my captain. That's who I grew up on. It was hard to see somebody take the reins, and he wasn't. I liked Ovechkin. And that's why Gino was always my guy over Sid. Still is. My other PC is Gino and Stamkos. Those were my 2 favorite guys in the last month. And Ovechkin, but I couldn't afford him, so I don't have a ton of stuff. I like John Tavares, too, till he went to the Leafs.
I was going to say, you like a lot of hated players, didn't he? Tavares, Stamkos?
I collect a lot of guys. People just don't know. I have a lot of
Steven Stamkos, if you ever want to troll him.
Yes, Stamkos. I think Stamkos collection is bigger than. I'll have to do a video.
Yes, Zach, I brought him up as the tall slot receiver. 6'4" slot. And his last name's Tesla. Even though it's spelled with 2 A's, it's an automatic marketing. He's got to make it.
I'll make a video when eBay gets me my cards that I purchased over a week ago.
They go through authentication?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that Austin Matthews I hit? I don't know if you guys saw that with the NHL Shield part of the patch or whatever from Premier.
Uh-huh.
Well, it sold for $711, which is freaking amazing. It's lost at eBay authentication right now. Luckily, they have signed for it, so I'm in the clear. The problem is this guy's actually a collector, and you can't replace it.
No,
so,
that's a 101.
So I was asking around because, you don't ever call the number they give you. You got to find somebody because I'm trying to help the guy out, Yeah, I'm in the clear because they signed for it, but he's I want him to get his item, I know you can't replace that. So it's like,
luckily both of mine made it through authentication. One got shipped yesterday, one got shipped today.
Because he's on now, they got it the 5th, I want to say. And it's the 23rd, and it still hasn't been authenticated.
That's scary.
They literally, it says signed at front desk or whatever that they received it. and nothing's happened since.
What's this under my desk? Oh, it's Austin Matthews. I wonder where this goes.
I've been lucky every time I've had something go through them. It's gotten there once they're signed for it. The next day it gets inspected. The next day it gets authenticated and shipped back.
Yep. Same
I've
here.
been fortunate in that aspect. I haven't, because I see all the horror stories and be like, they've had my card for 3 weeks. Where is it? I've been lucky that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, so I still hope this guy gets it.
I just hate seeing, like, the one card I really, really want. The seller was Illinois. I had to see it fly over my state to go to California just to come back.
Yeah, how the buyer doesn't have a choice to opt out. So
yeah.
Because number one, no one asked for this. Number two, okay, you want to do this, try to cover it. The buyer should have the option of, no, I'm good.
Correct.
Because he even messaged me. The saddest part is he messaged me beforehand and said, do you have to send it there first? And I was like, unfortunately, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And then this happens because I just saw it was delivered, never looked at it again. And he messaged me last week and he goes, I have this funny feeling they lost it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I don't know anyone special over there. So anybody watching this ever had a thing and knows a guy, let me know. Because the guy seemed like a nice guy. He wasn't like trying to, and he actually was a collector of Austin Matthews. So,
which is rough. I hope they find it.
Yeah.
And I've only had one item that I bought that eBay rejected it because of undisclosed damage.
Yeah. Well, the Julio Rodriguez I hit.
Oh,
I put chipping chipping around the corners and edges, right?
Uh-huh.
Anybody who buys this knows from that product, it's not meant, but I put all that. The guy gets it. Well, this corner has a ding too. I said has wear along the edges and corners. He was mad. I guess I didn't put right corner has. I was like, it's a 1-on-1. No one cared. And they sent it back, and I had to resell it. Luckily, got the same price, just at $3, within $3.
Yeah. Mine, the card I purchased was a Shawn Michaels autograph from Immaculate.
Yep, I remember that.
We know what Immaculate is.
Right.
Immaculate is a shit show of a product as far as condition is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I was buying.
Exactly.
eBay made the decision themselves to say, no, you can't have it.
Yeah.
And send it back.
Yeah, because they put on there, oh, we'll ask the buyer.
Yeah,
but I know they didn't because it was literally 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
It went through. And I was like, this guy knew what the heck he was buying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't ask the buyer.
Buyer's remorse on that situation.
So, whatever. I was just glad it got within $3 of what it got the first time.
Okay. Let's pass my bedtime, Jones.
Yeah, okay. We'll wrap it.
You need some rest, Michael. You're sounding congested.
I have been since Sunday. I have a feeling it was because of the smoking of the meats on Saturday. I think that clogged me up pretty good. So, but good seeing everybody again. And
take it easy, Michael.
Good luck to everybody's team tomorrow. It's
Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday. What? It's all the same.
Yeah, we're not past midnight just yet.
Nothing starts tomorrow.
Well, it is midnight here
for Brad and Vinny. Yes.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, no. We still have an hour before it's Thursday.
Okay. Good night, guys.
See ya.
Ladies, man.
Later.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. It's hard this year. It's a tough bracket. The Oilers Kings. If Oilers didn't have all the injuries, they do. Because I was talking to Paul about it. That one I was borderline, but once he and I discussed, that's when I went with the Kings. And the Wild and the VKG. That's another one that's tossed up. I think the Avs aren't the team they used to be. The Jets are just a juggernaut, and the Jets could surprisingly beat the Stars. But I like the Stars. I always did. Sagan and Wyatt Johnson. I think they're solid. And Kings with Kopitar, you can never count the kid out. And the Panthers just have good goaltending.
Yeah, but Johnston's hurt.
Yeah.
Which is why Dallas isn't looking as sharp as what they normally do. They're losing right now 1-0.
And Tyler Lockett just signed a $4 million up to $6 million contract for 1 year with the Titans. So that's where he went. In NFL free agency news. Look like I need to get a haircut.
Wrap us up, Dave.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you for Brad for taking time out of his busy schedule to go down with the ship on this particular episode. And yeah, hopefully there's some trades tomorrow. I've seen a lot again where it's you really don't need to make that move up again unless you're somehow in love with somebody big. Even then, it's just like
I'm sure we'll still get at least 4, probably.
I'm hoping. The first one I hope I get right, and then after that, if I get the first one wrong, I'm pretty much just tossing it away. That means I'm not that smart. Wow. Just that. So next week, again, Tuesday tentative. I don't know 100%, the 95%, unless the one game gets pushed to that day. But I believe Tuesday is the open day, and I believe probably talk a little about the draft review, and I don't know what else. Strongsville recap.
I was going to go to Strongsville, but it's 2 hours away and all vintage. So I figured it wasn't worth that much.
There was modern there.
Yeah. It was it JT that sent me a few pics of Davis, but yeah. Yeah, I would have went if it was like close to me, but I'm not driving 2 hours both ways to do it. You know?
Well, some people flew in to go there, and that.
Hey, I mean, I get it if vintage guy. But again, like that show's so small, like one day is all you would really need. But it's cool to hang out. I would have went and hanged out with some of them, but just not 2 hours each way for a day. It's like, I'll have to. I can't do it. So you could have seen me in a Strongsville video. That would have made you happy.
I would not have seen you. That Brad, that would have required me to watch a Strongsville video.
Right.
I don't even put it in the title, just for Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all right. He'd put it in a watch later list and watch it 3 years from now.
Yeah.
What did he pick up at Strongsville?
Well, actually, great cards. I haven't had those for like 2 years now. Like, oh. When was this made? Okay. Uh-oh. Out of the cobwebs.
I barely drove 2 hours for the National because it's right beside, it's right before you hit Cleveland. And I was like, and that was only because I was staying 4 days, I'm not a driver, man. Like Dave, how you do it every day, I would just kill myself.
The last couple days, it's been brutal. Just because it's a lot of it. And yet I sit there and try to just like chug the Baja Blast, and I can't because then I'll start getting like the acid reflux and like, I'll drink it, but it's not like. And I don't do Monster. I don't do all that other energy shit at all. So it's a playlist on the old phone where I got a couple Spotify ones. There's like a rap one. a heavy rock one, like the old blog TV when Scott would go on or Chris would go on. It's like a lot of that stuff's on there. So it's at least stuff where like it's Slipknot, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera. Like then you have like the niche stuff, the Edema, Shaman's Harvest, 3 Days Grace, stuff like that, where it's like, and again, they're not so much the last one, but like, yeah, there's like one song of each of these bands that I really enjoy. So it's just like, oh, try to play that and you just try to prop your eyelids open with like pins or fucking clothespins. It sucks. Especially because you're standing outside for 4 hours, basically 3.5, 4 hours. And I'm standing, so then my feet hurt, my legs hurt because I'm carrying too much extra mass around my stomach area. So
and then you drive.
So, but yeah, driving, it's when it's gone, but right now I do not want to deal with it at all. So there's plenty of games left in the season. So with that, if your team picks a bad pick or somebody you hate, Brad8671 at Strongsville.net, that is his email. Complain to him and tell him you're gonna have a petition to take him out of the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So see, we didn't even get to that part of the old equation where that was.
No, wait a second though, Dick. We can't do that because he's the spokesperson now for like the Veterans Committee. So like,
well, I just want to get some insight, but I'm like, nope.
We need Brad.
I know there's already too many plates or too many irons in the fire. I'm like, yeah, we can wait till December and get him on for something then. Hold him to the, as Ed said, we'll put him in the gallows, and we don't like what we hear. Well,
we'll see if it can be saved. It may just be too late. We'll see. It may have ran its course, which is it's already lasted a long time. So we'll see.
I know.
Make the effort.
And I'll be honest, it's all going to be dependent on how y'all kind of make it work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's one thing with the way that it is currently, like that's pretty much solidified. There's not much to really change from that perspective until you incorporate the whole veterans type thing, or if it's like becomes its own separate little conglomerate within the whole thing.
I would guess right now it's going to be something towards like that.
So
it's not official yet, because again, I'm also not the one making the decision.
Correct, but like
I am the advisor. But yes, you most likely here's the
deal. You have a lot of feedback. You have
he
a lot
will
of pull.
Definitely make people vote on it. He does not want 10 people deciding or like a vet committee. He will make people vote on it. That's like what he's kind of adamant about, which I get. But my idea is going to be, and I'm going to throw it back, I think I'm going to make a video and he's going to do links where I'm going to give a list of people. And it's going to be like 60. It's not going to be like I'm putting a list of 10 and say vote for 3 of them or something. You know, because otherwise, because the whole point, what he really wants to do are the people that are still active,
right?
Be mixed with the other people that are still active. There ain't much we can do about the ones not making videos anymore. Unless a couple of us vote them in, they might. But his whole point of this is the ones that are still active and the fact that we still have no idea who they are. That's what we're trying to at least.
Which is a start, though. Like, that's something. That's something.
Right. That is what the goal is right now, is to at least get everyone who is still here and active
a chance.
Right, because a lot of people will end up liking each other and liking each other's content, and some of them you won't. But, yeah, that's what the idea is. So we'll see how it ends up getting done. But that's, I think people are going to need a list to choose from.
I
He
think
was kind
that's
of,
I don't think that's
and you can
a
choose someone
wrong
not on
approach.
the list as long as they qualify, but
I don't think that's the wrong approach, because and the reason I say that is because, like, you've been around long enough, you would be able to give a substantial amount
yeah,
of
like I have already kind
active
of done it,
channels.
and I have like 60.
So, like, that's a shit ton when you put things into perspective too.
Oh yeah. And the other thing is, people who are watching this, people like Eastern Connecticut Sports Cards, Herd Fan, Greg Thomas, people who maybe deleted their channel at one point, but I can confirm that they had one pre-2015 and made content. They will be
Yes.
eligible.
Dawkins
If
311.
I can't confirm
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
he's on
Will.
my list. If I can't confirm it, then no, they aren't going to be on there. But I
Right.
pretty much remember most anyone who would ever get a vote who made content. All that's got to happen is the channel still just has to be there.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with guys like that. As long as I know for a fact that you qualify for what our thing's going to be. That's kind of where I come in probably the most, is that I'm going to be the guy that decides that. Who's eligible, basically, for that.
But that's something, because again, you've been around a long time, you know a lot of people. Like, you would be one of, like, in my opinion, outside of, like, let's say like Ed, y'all would be one of the two individuals that I would think is the best for being in that position to be able to come to the table with that information. No offense, Dave.
So
I know, like, no offense to, like, I get that, but like, you and I have been around a long time too, but at the same time, like, you and I didn't always kind of go outside our little realm either. So there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of people we would miss, is what I'm saying.
And I know we had the one, I don't even remember what episode, we just ripped through names, which again, a good chunk there. But yeah, it's like, I just go back to like my subscribers or who I've subscribed to.
I kind of do.
I know I have, like, said it before, like Ghost to Zepho, Alan. I mean, he hasn't made shit in fucking years, but again.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that. It was also the original Zepho
Oh, yeah.
TBS before the Ghost to Zepho channel even became a thing. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure I even have a video up on my channel about when Matt sent me something, HerdFan87. So, like, and at some point he had a video of me sending him stuff. So, like, go freaking do a search of freaking care packages and shit from all us old school people, and then you'll get a list of people that way too.
Yeah, and that's like,
I think he's going to want to make it to where you can vote for, let's say it's going to be 20 names. You could vote for 20 old school guys, and at least 3 will get in. The highest 3. That is what the early preliminary thing is. And it's 2015 or before, so it's 10 years. And that number never changes. So it isn't like I'm making it 10 years. It never changes.
So it doesn't go to 2016, 2017. Right. It's 2015.
So it'll pretty much guarantee for however long this goes on that if you're 2015 or before, 3 people or at least are going in. But we're not going to limit it to that. If some current guys, like some of you have gotten close, you could be 8 old school guys get in,
Right.
So I'm going to try to make that clear of like, so we might have like 2 separate ballots, sort of.
Which makes sense.
But yeah, you can't do 20 people who don't qualify, but you can do 20 people that do qualify, if that makes sense, We'll see. Again, I'm not the final decision maker on that.
Right. No,
that's
and
preliminary.
It's still early. It's still early.
We're thinking about. but I'm pretty sure these are what's final. It's going to be the 2015 thing, and probably 3 people get it. We
So
think
a
that's
total
good.
of what?
So it'd be a
then
total of 8.
8. Okay.
So at least 3 channels that have been a while get in. Most likely at the start of it, it's going to be 3 active channels. Let's just because he's allowing everyone to vote, most likely. But if it does continue, you will start to get ones that maybe are rarely ever active. That's the idea of it. But we know the first couple of years of it would be most likely the active channels that qualify are going to get in first. Purple
Right.
GTs of the world,
Yep.
whatever. But that's what the early thinking is. We'll give it a shot. That's what I told him. I said, hey, I'll try it out with you. We'll see. So I think I got it down to where we'll see if it works. Maybe people just don't give a damn anymore. I don't know. We'll see.
No, there's still at least like 2 or 3 classes of vintage guys that need to get in. We gotta get them in first.
Wrap us up, Dave. Jesus. Please.
We gotta talk about that more though. Now it's been brought up.
No, it's 3 hours. I'm getting tired.
You are.
I just said I'm getting tired. I'm not saying that I'm any more tired than you or anybody else. I just said I'm getting tired.
Again, thank you, Brad, coming on. Thank you all for joining us. Watch the draft whenever it is tomorrow, I believe. Thursday. Today, Thursday. Depending where you're at. So there we go. Exactly. Thunderdome. Texans, yes, they still need a left tackle.
Yeah, definitely do now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So nothing's changed from what you mentioned over a year ago, almost a year ago. Since this has been the main, like one of the consistent topics we have every year. So
Yeah, since we can do the NFL free agency.
yeah, well. Anyways,
you're lucky you're in that Hall of Fame, Brad, or that Dr.
hey,
That's a Hall of
unfortunately,
Famer. I only make one appearance per podcast. So.
Well, yeah,
that's a load of shit, Brad, because we've had you on twice a year for many years now, and this was the first year we didn't get you on for free agency, only because of just schedules didn't work out.
well, no, that's because he's now working in, I won't say hand in hand, but he's like an advisor of Jake. So now it's a schlub, Hall of Fame, and an advisor to the Hall of Fame. It's just like, okay, well, we got priced out.
I moved up then, is what you're saying.
Well,
Obviously.
yeah. You're up above Tua pay grade, so
Yeah, so in other words, we're getting to the point to where we can't afford you.
yeah. We'll have you just on audio next time. You'll be calling in.
That's why I made sure I got the hour 3 for the extra pay. So that's...
Yeah, the bump.
Vinny, make sure you cut that check right.
So, for Michael, for Vincenzo, for Steve, for good friend Brad, I'm Dave. This has been the IRP. Remember, collecting vintage is a wonderful hobby. The friendships that you forge in Strongsville, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.